Hello and welcome back to another episode of Autodidactica. I'm one of your hosts, Glenn Clark.
I am the other one, Matt Paul.
Today we're doing a very different kind of episode from what we usually do. Because
Yeah,
usually
no
we
hard
have,
stuff today.
yeah, no hard stuff, no, I mean, I don't know, I can't see under the desk, but
Yeah, I was gonna have to say.
um, this episode is gonna be called, I mean, should we go right into it? I mean, we do like this ep
Yeah, that's fine with me.
all
Nothing
right.
going on special in my life besides work.
Right. Yeah, same. I mean,
And
work's been exhausting. That's pretty much our life
yeah,
story right now for
we I
both of
just
us.
ended a week from hell,
Yeah, same.
and it's Friday. Yay! It's payday. It's the second of the month. Rent's paid, so now I have no money again,
Mm.
and work starts back again on Monday. Yay!
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway. We're exhausted and doing autodidactica. It's fine. You won't be able to tell the difference. We'll just be a little loopier than normal. But
True that.
this month's topic is an episode of non-stop BS.
Which is constantly restrained in our normal topic. Uh,
Right, right. Like it comes out when the cameras aren't on. Like it came out last night in the kitchen,
yeah.
which is
Although,
why I'm
like,
so exhausted.
yeah, no, I
No
mean, and
regrets though. That was glorious.
that was, and I'll have you know that I continued that conversation because Todd messaged me
Oh,
like right
geez.
as we were like, we need to go to bed. And
Yeah.
then another friend of mine who likes to get ponderous with me
Uh-huh.
started talking to me about work stuff because I work with the guy, and then he's like, I bet you're wondering what I'm doing up so late. And I was like, obviously work. But me, I was just having a philosophical political conversation that lasted 3.5 unintentional
I
hours.
know. Like I was on my way to bed, and then
And
we just, and then I was
and we
on.
went off. And
Yeah.
like I'm gonna do my
Off like we
best.
were yelling, like we were worse than Chase. Like
Yeah.
Chase comes home from work and starts screaming till 2 in the morning and playing video games.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna come out and be like, can you guys shut the
I know,
hell up?
so did I, because if y'all were outside my bedroom door, I would have. I'd have been like, hey, shut up.
Yeah, so like, I was a little hesitant to do this episode
Hmm.
because this is supposed to be nonstop BS
Yeah.
and not the political ramblings of two roommates and
Right.
friends and so like I didn't like as much as I would like to just pick right up where we left off yesterday.
Oh yeah,
uh
no.
it's not really the topic.
No, no, I don't want to do that. That
Like
was too,
that's a
like
whole nother topic.
I don't want to get angry, like things we talk about that make me angry in the world, like nah. But I'm not gonna restrict things. The conversation's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
go where it
no.
goes. Like the that video that's blowing up on my channel right now, that's one of the things I was doing in there. I just kept saying, well, I want to talk, well, but I don't want to get political, I don't want to get political. And then I got
And the
so
whole episode is
political.
political.
Yeah, I got so political. Apparently it worked for me. But yeah, so just because we say we don't want to get political doesn't mean we won't. This is
Does
autodidactica.
YouTube
So
like show like how many shares a video has?
no, at
So
least
so
not
you have
where I
no
know
idea.
to look. I have no idea why that video is blowing up, but it's fun. It was at 900 the last time I looked. 900 views. And my subscriber count just keeps climbing. The view count keeps
Nuts.
climbing, and I'm like, I had to close it. I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and refresh every 5 minutes. I'm gonna look in the morning and I'm
Just ego
actually
stroking.
right, pretty much, but it's more like fascination. Like I'm just
I'm wondering if
fascinated
like
that this is
someone shared it on
happening.
Facebook. Like someone
Right.
moderately like influential
Right. I wondered that
came
too.
across it and was like,
Hmm.
this person brings up some interesting ideals, but then no tagging of like the person.
Right.
Like, they didn't
Right. Well,
like
because
friend
if it's
you
not
or
somebody I know, like
right,
most people who comment on my videos these days, I have no idea who they are outside of just chatting with them on the YouTube comments on my videos. They're
right,
total strangers, and that's been more now. Like today, dang, I was trying to comment, like respond to everybody's comments because I'm still a micro channel, so there's no real excuse for me not to interact with the people because it's not like there's too many comments for me. It's like I'm lucky if I get 10. I'm very lucky.
right.
Like I think it's so fun. I think it's so fun when people actually interact. Like I love it when people interact here on Autodidactica when they leave us comments.
Yeah, it's
Um
awesome. It's a cool feeling.
yeah, it's nice to be able to like you're not just talking at people because they're talking back. I think that's cool. Um but yeah, what I'm saying is who knows if we're going to get political, but I don't intend to
Yeah, I didn't
tonight because
intend to last
we
night at
right.
9:30.
But I'm thinking we got all that out of our system, at least a little, like,
Yeah, no,
enough
we
that
did.
we don't need to rehash it here.
No, I mean not here. I've been rehashing it in my head all day
Oh yeah,
while trying to
same.
work.
Same. Like it's stuff I think about all the time, but
Yeah, no, it's stuff because I mean my main stance the whole night was like I don't
oh
like
yeah,
any
yeah,
of
wait,
it.
wait, wait. Yeah, right.
And so like I
Oh, so
try to
you're
not think about this stuff.
right, right.
But
But it's
yeah, here
there,
we
it's
go.
in the world
Yeah.
and see
BS.
this what you're doing is what I did in my video. It's like, but of course what I think is and like no, no, I'm not going to
Yeah,
get
there we
political.
go.
And then you just keep going back to it. So yeah, a whole episode of BS which is basically Glenn and Matt um distilled. Like Glenn and Matt's essence is
Yeah.
just uh this is what we
Well,
do. All right, well I'm out of things to say. Goodbye.
yeah, same here. Good night. Good night.
I'm kidding. Oh, but we should mention no, we don't have to. We don't have to do this the normal way. I'm thinking formats. Like we didn't talk about last week. I haven't even looked up comments. No offense to anyone if you commented. We'll do that next time.
Yeah, let's
Fuck
do that
that.
next time.
Let's just get into it because I like the idea of it being unstructured, and that's really the difference because we're always structured here. We at least we have a topic and we come in with bullet points of things we know we want to say. It's not like there's an order outlined. It's just we both have ideas of what we want to say. Tonight, at least I have no idea.
I have zero. I have none.
Excellent.
Um,
Excellent.
I've been playing PSP a lot. Pretty small penis.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, we know that about you. It's all right.
yeah,
It's all right. You
yeah.
shouldn't be ashamed.
No, I'm totally confident in myself. Confidence is key. Motion of the ocean
And
not the
so
size of
is
a
your
boat.
penis. Like you can stick it into a keyhole. You can unlock
Right. I
doors
can
with
pick
it. A
locks.
tiny penis is very useful.
Yeah, but
You
I
can pick
can't.
locks, you can dick locks, you
Carjacking
can
is getting more difficult with all the push to starts.
Well, I mean, maybe yeah, that's the definition of jacking when you're in the car. Like you just you make it more work for
I remember when
yourself
you made
and
fun of me
fluff it
when
up.
we were jump starting a car, and
Me,
I
why would I
called
make fun of you?
jumping it off,
I don't remember
jumping off
that.
a car,
Oh no, you did. I remember that. You called it jump. You didn't. It was jump starting a car,
jumping off a car.
and you're
Yeah,
I'm gonna
jump it
jump
off.
off my car. What?
Yeah. And
Jumping
I'll
off a
have you know,
car?
I've seen several instances where other people use that phrasing since
I
then.
mean,
I'm not
were they
crazy.
certified morons? I don't know. You
Yeah,
might.
my certification hasn't come in the mail yet.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could be a I guess you can be a certified moron. Like if you have like a
Ooh.
mental illness, like somebody
Oh,
they somehow.
no.
All right, we're gonna stop. Hey, like
Oh, I mean,
everyone is
yours was worse than what
mentally
I was
ill.
gonna say
Everyone is mentally ill,
because I
including
was about to
us.
make it political, but I was like, oh, there's a way to be a certified
I know,
moron.
no, so was I. I was too, and then I stopped myself. Like, we're not
Yeah.
getting political.
We're not that's gonna be this whole episode is
I know
like,
it's
but
gonna
we're
be a
not getting
running.
political.
It's gonna be a running joke. We'll start saying something, but no, we're not getting political.
We're not
We're
getting
gonna wind
political.
up with political blue balls, or we'll have to get it all out after we
I've got
turn off
them
the
right
camera.
now.
The political blue state balls. Like, does that mean other people get political red balls?
Ooh, I don't
That
want
would be,
red
that
balls.
sounds more painful. I mean,
I
you
am
gotta have
Native
an
American though.
infection. You have an infection.
I don't know.
uh,
I is it like everybody else's genitals are like the darkest part of their body? Like I don't
oh
do a
yeah.
lot of nude tanning,
Uh-huh.
but let's just say that my arms are of a lighter complexion.
No, it's true. I don't know why that is. I
I
never
think it's
like
like blood staining.
blood staining.
Yeah, like there's more blood vessels, and
Huh.
that's part of the whole thing about arousal is blood
Right.
gets sent down to the areas,
Interesting. But I
thinner
mean,
skin, and it's like
but little kids, like, you're not getting erections when you're a little kid, and I noticed that when I was a little kid,
true,
that
true.
dongs were darker than the rest of me and my cousins when we're in the shower. I was like, it's not just me, it's them too.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
Like,
do some research.
I guess, but I mean, I don't really want to. Like, I mean, it's kind of like, because then yeah, I don't want to go there. Like, you'd have to research
We could just do
children as well.
surveys.
Like I don't, you just, well, I guess you could do medical research. It's like, you could
Yeah, I'm not getting
ask a
anywhere near a child's
biologist,
dong.
right? That's what I'm saying. So ask a,
I'll
why am
just
I
let
getting
somebody
blurry?
else. Yeah, I'll just let somebody else do the research.
Someone else probably has, the answers are probably out there. And I've gone blurry. The camera's gone blurry. Why does it do that? Oh well. Keep talking. No dead
It's
air.
it's probably
Dead air.
because you have such a depth of field behind you.
Maybe. Oh, hey, there
Yeah,
I am. I'm all cleared up. All
because
cleared
sometimes
up.
it might try to focus on that corner in
I
your wall
see.
that's like 16 feet
Mm-hmm.
away.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because it could
But
be the
I'm no.
corner. Because yours is flat looking. Yours is far away too. It's not like right behind you, but I guess the actual depth doesn't really come across on camera. Okay, you know what's weird? I was trying to send Chase a picture.
I don't
Um,
want to hear the rest of the
no, no, no,
story.
no, it's not bad. Fair, fair, but no, because we both work around similar things, and there was this wooden pallet that I found, and it was so ridiculously crooked. Like, it was not a square at all. Like, it was so slanted and warped, and I'm like, how did that pallet get built? What do you do with that palette? So I wanted to take a picture of it and send it to Chase, who would appreciate this. And just the ridiculousness of it. But every time I lined it up in my camera, it didn't look crooked at all. And I'm telling you, this thing was so crooked. It just, like, because I stood it up and it's at an angle. I stood it up on its side because I'm like, that's how I'll do it. Because then you can't avoid how crooked it is. Again, lined it up in my camera, no angle could I get where this thing looked crooked on camera. So I just gave up. And I was just baffled by the mystery.
You hit your head that day?
No, no. But then I was noticing other things, like people look a lot fatter on, because, like, okay, so remember I took that picture of you last night holding party hats in case our house
Mm-hmm.
is haunted to see if the
Right.
ghosts would come under them? Well, they didn't. But I saw you in real life. You're not an obese man. But that picture, you looked fat. You looked fat in that picture. And I'm like, okay, something maybe is wrong with my phone camera because it's
Hmm.
warping reality. So maybe I need to get in and check the settings because
Well, I
maybe
mean,
it's
you were
doing
looking at
something weird.
something that was curved that's normally supposed to be straight, but through
Uh-huh.
the right lens, it was coming out as straight instead of curved.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you were just feeling extra on the spectrum that day, and you weren't your straight vision wasn't operating correctly.
Maybe. Or my crooked, my non-straight vision wasn't operating and the straight was
Right.
just taking it over.
Yeah, the
It's
the
like
camera was like, "This is straight, bro." And you're like, "I don't know, it's pretty gay."
it looks
Uh,
gay off camera, on it's in the closet.
it's in the
That
closet.
that
Yeah, it's a
palette
it's
was
a
in the
closet
closet,
palette.
right? It's like, oh, a camera, I better straighten up. I have a girlfriend, she lives in Canada.
She lives in Canada. Oh man, I'm
uh
so glad that that is a phrase.
uh
Because I mean, I've never used that one before
uh-huh.
until I did have like a connection with a friend online.
Yeah, which is how
And I
you
was like,
learned that
yeah,
phrase.
I was like, no, you taught it to me from somebody else using it who
Uh-huh.
actually had a girlfriend in
Right.
Canada, allegedly.
Uh-huh.
And you got a kick out of that because you had heard that used like it's a phrase that gay people tell their parents and their
Right.
friends.
Closet gay people. I have a
Yeah.
girlfriend. She lives in Canada.
Because I mean, I used that
Yeah.
excuse when I was in like middle school, but it was not Canada. It was just you wouldn't know her. She goes to another school.
In
You know,
Canada.
because I want to be
Right.
cool. You know, I want people to think that I had a girlfriend, and you
See, I
know,
was the opposite. Like I had a girlfriend and I was trying not to let anyone know. When I was in
yeah,
like ninth grade, 15.
yeah,
And I
that's
was like, no,
impossible.
no one can know. It didn't
And
last. It didn't
yeah,
work.
everybody knows before you even know you have a girlfriend.
Right. Right. No, for real. For real. She came on a bit too strong though. I
Fair
don't know.
enough.
Like she was sending me these epic love letters and I'm like, we haven't even been on a date. Like we can't even drive. Like we're like
That's how it used to be.
15. Yeah, like we just see each other in the hall at school. And
I
you're
mean, that's probably
talking
why I can't get
about
a date
our
now.
love and stuff. What?
That's probably why I can't get a date now, is because I'm not desperate enough to to write stuff about people I just met.
Right, like I don't care. I don't care. Like I care, but I don't care. Like I remember talking to my shrink about this not long ago. Well, back when I had a shrink, and because I was trying to explain how I approach going on dates, and I was just saying I don't care how it goes. Like I don't care if it works out or not. I'm literally just going and going with the flow. Like I don't have any hopes built up on this. That's what I meant. But he was like, "Well, that just sounds very cold." And I'm like, "No, but it's not. I'm not saying I don't care about the person. I'm not saying that I have.
Right,
I'm saying that it's irrelevant to me whether we have a second date, whether this works out. Like it's irrelevant to me. All that matters to me is I'm going out and having a good time with someone who I would like to get to know better. That's it."
right. As long as you have a certain amount of drive to want to get to know somebody,
Right.
having like, you know, I guess it's the there's a difference in connotation between like low expectations and
Uh,
what it can actually mean. Having low expectations does not mean low interest.
right. Exactly.
And
Exactly. And it's
and
just
that's where I feel like when you say I have low expectations, people paint that in a negative
right.
shade.
They think you're saying that you expect it to go poorly
Right,
when
but
it's
that's a
really,
different phrase
mhm,
completely.
yeah,
I have poor expectations and I
right.
have low expectations are
They're
different.
just, or no expectations, like
Even
good
no
or bad.
expectations. See, I feel like you have to go into a date with some expectations.
Well, the expectation that they'll show up isn't
Right,
unfair. I mean,
right.
I've never had one who didn't show up, but
Yeah.
yeah, no. Like I had
Not
one where
like
I couldn't find the
I've had
place and they didn't
cancellations,
believe me. Yeah, in reschedulings. Yeah.
but not like a no call, no show.
Uh-huh.
Like, 'cause that would be pretty brutal.
Yeah.
I'd never
Yeah.
recover from that. Just kidding. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's like, oh good, now I can go watch
Now
a
I can
movie and I
go
can go watch
home.
Star Wars. Like
Yeah.
all like I've been wanting like it was funny like when I was the YouTube thing, I'm not gonna harp on that, but like I was texting Nick Aston about it because he's very into my YouTube stuff, which I appreciate about him. But after I was talking about how excited I am, I'm like, well, I mean, now I need Star Wars and pizza. Like that's all I need now. I just need to chill out. That's how I celebrate things. And that's what I'd be like if my date didn't show up. I need Star Wars and pizza. Like I get to go watch Star Wars and eat pizza. I'm gonna be fine.
Well,
Like it
and
wouldn't devastate me.
no, absolutely not.
Not at all. Like I might
Like,
even just depending on where we were meeting, I might just enjoy myself there. Who
yeah,
knows?
exactly, exactly. If you meet at a restaurant, screw it, I'm hungry.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm gonna go in and eat, dude. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
4 or 5 years ago, there used to be a restaurant. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, because I was just remembering you had that one who wouldn't, like
What?
she kept postponing it. Like she was
Yeah,
running late and
running super
later and
late,
later,
and it just, I was like, you know
but she was
what?
in contact with you. Like,
Right. I was like, you know what? Don't worry about it,
yeah,
and we'll reschedule or whatever. But I was pretty turned off on the whole thing.
right.
And so, but I just went, ate my food, and had a good time, and came
Hmm.
home. And I got to drive the WRX, so I love doing that.
Yeah.
You know, my brother's always trying to find. He's always being like, "Hey, want to take me to the airport? Take out the WRX on a nice strip of highway?" I was like, "You son of a bitch, I'm in."
Right.
Of course, last time I tried to do that, the freaking thing had a flat tire,
What? Oh, that's right. That's
and
right. Because you needed the pump thing.
sent me off.
Yeah.
I took it to Discount Tire, and they fixed it up, but they didn't tell me what was wrong with it because they were like closing,
Oh, that's
and
right.
they're
Uh,
like, "Well, he fixed it," because the guys who drive the cars aren't the guys who work on the cars, because the guys who work on the cars have dirty, nasty, greasy hands. So they
hmm.
get one of the in-store clerks to go and pull the car out of the bay and bring it around to the customer,
I
which I
appreciate that.
appreciate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But they were like, I walked in and I didn't know that they had like a company-wide meeting retreat
Hmm.
that day. So they were all closing early. And so I walked in with like 10 minutes to close. I was like, it's no big deal if y'all can't get to me. He's like, hey, we're here. You came in before we close. If all it needs is a patch, we'll get you sorted. And I'm like, well, sweet. Well, I get my car and I was like, what was wrong with it? He's like, oh, I don't actually know. The guy already left. But I mean, if he
But
worked on it,
it's
it's
fixed.
fixed.
It's
And
fixed.
I'm
So
just
I
like,
guess who
well,
cares what was wrong with it? It's
yeah,
fine
I'd
now.
still like to
I
know.
know.
And then he overinflated the crap out of my tire,
Uh-huh.
pushed it to like 38 psi
Gee,
when
they
it's
were in a
supposed to
hurry,
be
I guess.
30.
That's crazy.
And so I had to go and let out air. But
But it would have been nice to know, was it a nail? Was
was it
it
a
what did
nail?
it? Because is there something in the neighborhood like mine not too long before yours that annihilated my tire was a pothole right over here by the house. I just hit it hard. I think it was raining or something, so I didn't see it. Yeah, it was raining because I had to put on that donut in the rain. That was an annoying morning, but
Brutal.
I got it done. I felt good about that.
Yeah, no, for me, it's the fact that I pushed that car.
Hmm.
And so, like, something that's wrong with the tire, I'm a little hesitant to go
Hmm.
in the car because I do take corners fast, I accelerate fast, I brake hard, and
Right,
because I
right.
enjoy driving the car and sort of pushing it to its limits in moderation.
Yeah.
But still, having something wrong with the tire could result in something very bad happening.
Right.
And so at the
Right.
very least, I'd like to know where the patch is so I can inspect it routinely and stuff
Hmm.
like that. But anyway, no, like, as far as eating by yourself goes, like if a date were
Yeah.
to stand you up or something, man, there used to be a restaurant that you've been to before,
Yeah.
even many years ago, a place called Spiral Diner.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, that's where you had, what was that thing called?
Oh gosh, that
The
giant
triple
hamburger.
double, the triple
Triple double,
double.
the triple double.
Yeah, it was like 6 patties and
That thing was
like four buns,
ridiculous.
and
And
you ate
the
the whole thing.
hell yeah, I'm not gonna lose. I accepted the challenge.
Oh, my
I
stomach hurts
rose
just
to it.
thinking about it. And you ate the
I,
fries
and I
too.
ate the fries. And didn't you
And the
have like
potato salad.
milkshakes? Like
Yeah,
we had
dude,
that was a naughty night.
dude,
Like
you,
we were
you were
pigs.
not.
I was the
I did
worst.
not pick. I probably didn't even
Hey,
finish
you
my
got a milk.
burger.
I bet you did. I don't know. You
And
probably
I did not
didn't.
get a
You probably
milkshake.
didn't.
No, milkshakes were Project Pollo. I got
Oh,
those.
that's right. That's right.
I'm not paying
Gosh.
$9 for a milkshake at Spiral, but
I keep meaning to tell you, we should go check out Wolf Burger. Have you been there? My
no,
I
no,
have
I
a
think I've
friend at
heard of it.
I have a friend at work who keeps bringing it up to me. He's not vegan, but he's aware of it and like he's gone several times and he like loves it. Like the hamburgers, they're like the buns are green and red.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know where it is exactly, but I keep telling him, "Yeah, I'm gonna go. I just haven't had an opportunity." Like, everybody's been sick, but
Yeah,
everybody's well now, thank goodness.
mostly. I
Yeah,
still have a
mostly. Like
hack.
you have lingering little remnant of the your horrid disease.
Yeah, whatever it was.
I'm pretty sure it
But
was syphilis.
yeah, probably. But I'm better now.
Yeah, much better.
I no longer have the Sith.
The Sith. Dark,
Um,
you were a dark lord of the Sith.
that's some good fanfic right there.
Right.
That's the
Or a,
sequel to Star Wars,
I was about to say, yeah, like it's Star
Revenge
Wars
of the
porn.
Sith.
The Sith. Revenge of the Sith.
But
Uh,
no, I used to like years ago, like I was not necessarily low, but I was like finding myself, one of those sort of things
oh, right. You
where
were gay.
right.
I mean,
And no, and
nothing wrong with that. I'm
I
half
was
gay on my
on your
go on.
dad's side.
I'm half gay on my father's side, whatever that is. No, my dad
Uh
listens to this. He's gonna be like, "What the hell are you
what the
talking
hell?
about?"
I mean, hey, he's been to some
It's just a
places.
funny thing to say. Like just like I think it's funny for someone to say, "I'm half gay on my father's side," or for a woman on a date if they say, "Oh, do you have any kids?" and the woman goes, "Not that I know of." It's like,
Right.
what? What?
What?
What did you
What?
just say?
Yeah.
Oh, but go on. Sorry.
No, I would go like Saturday mornings, I would get up like because I can't sleep past like 8:30
Hmm.
without like getting up, going back to sleep, getting up, going back to sleep, getting up, going back to sleep, and so on and so forth. And I will do
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But I just got into the habit of like on Saturday mornings, the first time I woke up, like I got excited about it. I
Hmm.
would get up and drive into freaking downtown Dallas and go to
Yeah.
Spiral Diner and have breakfast there just by myself. I look like a
Oh,
total goddamn loser.
and no, I'm
And
just thinking you sound like a middle-aged man or
dude, I
something.
was. No, I'd
Like,
go up there and I'd sit there and read the news and I'd read up on stuff.
well, you
And
sound like my dad.
yeah, no, but instead of a newspaper, I had an iPhone.
Right,
And,
right.
I'm just flipping through the headlines and I'm eating I always got like a scrambled eggs with like two biscuits and gravy with like some toast and sausage and
Uh-huh.
some coffee. God, it was great. And I miss that so much because there's not a place around anymore that you can go and do that locally.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, what's the place called? Mm, there is a diner.
I think I
Oh,
know what you're talking about.
I used to meet my dad there frequently and for
Oh, you're talking
breakfast,
about
like
over there in like Oaklawn,
kind of, yeah, over there by where he used to live. Why can't I think of the name of that place? But I'll tell
Cafe
you, I'll
Brazil.
find it out. It's not Cafe
That's
Brazil.
not Cafe Brazil. They don't have anything
It's not
vegan.
like a big chain.
Hmm.
It's like a homey little
I mean, do they have
rest.
vegan stuff?
I have no idea. I doubt
Right.
it.
Yeah,
I
that's what I'm saying.
seriously doubt it. I
It's like
see
there's
what you're
not a
saying,
place that
right?
we can go,
Yeah.
as vegan vegetarians. Vegetarians have unlimited options. Breakfast is great for vegetarians
Right, right. You can eat
because you can
some
have
hash
eggs and
browns with butter, like I guess.
yeah, toast and butter with eggs,
Yeah.
like an egg scramble or an omelet, a veggie
Uh-huh.
omelet and stuff like that. But no, there's a place called like it's like 7 Mile Cafe or something, and apparently they
Uh-huh.
have some vegan stuff. but there's really not one local, is
Yeah.
the thing. Like I would have
Uh-huh.
to drive. Like there's still Spiral Diner still exists.
Hmm.
If you want to drive to
Isn't
Fort
it?
Worth
Yeah. I
or
was thinking it was in
Denton,
Arlington. Oh, Denton. That's what I was
yeah,
thinking.
Denton and
Denton.
Fort
I knew about
Worth.
that one.
And it's like downtown Fort Worth. And I mean, Denton is pretty much, the size of downtown Dallas, just in
Yeah,
general.
just the whole city.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's, and half the city is UNT. And,
Right. No, for real. That's where
but
I used to drive Zach to and from. Like he worked in Dallas and went to school there and didn't have a car.
insane.
Yeah, so I was back and forth. Long drives help me come up with cool story ideas, though.
That's true. And
Hmm.
until you stop paying attention to the road and then
Right.
rear end
Well,
somebody or
yeah,
something.
I'm good at multitasking. Very few people died.
Very minimal casualties.
Right. Did you hear about that guy? I don't, are you finished talking about your top
Yeah, yeah,
verb?
yeah, yeah. Go
Okay,
ahead.
because that's another thing someone was talking about at work. Some guy in Dallas, like they were in a stolen car. Four guys were in a stolen car, and they were fleeing the police. There was a police chase. This was yesterday. And they go up on a big old bridge, one of those giant overpass things. Um, and to escape the police, the morons drove off the bridge
Brilliant.
and, of course, died. But I mean, I was just thinking, how had they seen too many Fast and Furious movies? Like, I mean, you ask me, one is too many, but I've only
That
ever,
hey,
I've only ever seen the first one. I will give it another
the
chance now
first
that I know
three
there's
are brilliant.
no. Well, the first one, I don't know.
The
I'll
first one was great, the second one was better, and the third one was great.
Okay, if you say so. I can't argue because I haven't seen but the first one, and that was on purpose. Like
Oh
after I saw the
man.
first one, I'm like, there's a sequel? Nah.
Yeah, Too
I'm not gonna
Fast, Too
do that
Furious.
again. No. That
With
movie
the
was
with the
just
number two for each of those is
like
two TOO, is that an
that's
adjective?
also that's an adjective.
Does that
Oh, you're making my
describe
brain
something?
melt. No, well, no, it's a oh, don't make me think of
Too
English
late.
terms and humiliate myself as an author. No, I no, two is not an adjective. It's not
It's an adverb.
an adverb. That's the word I was trying to think
Yeah.
of. Yeah, that's the way I taught Nick Smith, our mutual friend, how to differentiate between the three twos. Like because you could remember, I don't remember how I told him. I just remember I told him two with two O's. It's like two with has another O also. Two as in also has another O
Hmm.
also. There are
I'm just not a
two O's.
moron.
Right. Well, neither was he. Like he was
You
writing
set the
A
you set
papers
you
by
set the
the end of the
parameters and then
semester.
I start using the logic. I'm just like, okay, I understand,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what an adverb is, but
Uh-huh.
I
Well, two. Two is an adverb.
two is an adverb. I guess
I
it's,
have to watch some
I'm gonna have to,
Schoolhouse Rock.
yeah, I'm gonna write this down. Look up what an adverb is.
That'll be one of our topics in the next season of this. Like, what is an adverb? No one
What is
will
the
listen
present
to us anymore.
participle? What is the past
uh,
progressive? I don't know
Gosh.
any of that stuff. I was so
Yeah.
bad in English.
No, like ironically, I almost didn't graduate because of English. Like I
Same.
also just
My
never
English
did my
teacher was just
homework.
cool. Yeah. My English teacher was just like, "You're a smart kid. You just hate working." I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, that was me.
that's literally it. He's like, "So I'm just gonna give you a 70.
Hmm.
Technically, you should be getting a 59, but we'll just
Yeah.
sweep that under the rug."
And you're
I
like,
was like, "Cool."
could you make it a 69? But it's like yeah, snicker, snicker. No, but like I passed, like it's funny, like I almost felt guilty about it, except I was too like gleeful over my evil, sinister victory when I graduated. Because I did pass English. and my teacher was very impressed with the paper I turned in. I had to write a book report on a classic. So the day it was due that I wouldn't graduate if I didn't write this thing, I'm sitting in study hall and I just grabbed Moby Dick off the shelf at home, like my dad's copy. And so I'm in study hall and I'm just flipping through, reading the chapter titles. And then I write a book report on Moby Dick just based on the chapter titles and having once seen an ancient film adaptation as a child. That was probably not, it's like, so that was kind of the glue where I could like see, okay, I know the general plot of this. Crazy man has a vendetta against a whale. But and it
Yeah,
doesn't end well for him. But
there's
or
only so many ways to write that story to begin with.
right, exactly. And so I aced my final paper.
That's
And I
insane.
even I BS my way through a conversation about the book with my teacher afterward because she was so impressed. I thought it was funny.
Dude, my English class senior year was ridiculous because I had dropped out of like the advanced classes for most of my classes
Yeah.
because I was pissed off my senior year that I even had to be at school
Uh-huh.
because I started my senior year needing 2 credits to graduate.
Yeah.
Like I had done because I took high school English in middle school. I took high school math in middle school. And so by the time I got to senior year, they were like, yeah, you've done it all, but you have to do more because you have to do something.
Uh-huh.
I was like, what in the hell are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. So they were like, pick calculus or just take English again. I was like, you're
Mm-hmm.
literally gonna make me take the class I took last year just so I'm doing something.
Mm-hmm.
What is this, daycare? Um,
Right.
but no, so I was like, well, I'm not going to take the hard class again, where I
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of work to do. So I just took the regulars class, which is demeaning in and of itself. The fact that it's called regulars class is like, I always
Right.
hated that. I was like, shouldn't it just be called standard
Uh-huh.
or something like that, or just
Right.
English 1301 or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
instead of regulars English, which just there were kids who were just called, oh, those are regulars kids. We don't associate with the regulars kids.
Right. They poop 3 times a day on the clock.
Yeah.
They're the most
Nothing
regular
but hot
kids on
Cheetos.
campus. Hot Cheetah.
Um, dude, those kids
Did
love
you
some hot Cheetos.
did you see the dude who built a thing to like this epic time capsule,
No.
like a vault, like a tomb for a bag of hot Cheetos.
Oh
And
my
he like had
gosh.
cables suspending it. And so like if there's an earthquake, nothing's gonna damage this tomb.
My
And it's
goodness.
for future uh archaeologists to discover. And anyone who finds this well-crafted tomb, this advanced bit of ancient 21st century technology is going to be amazed at how our reverence for hot Cheetos.
Right, because they're gonna know what they
Like they're
are.
gonna
Like that's the thing is, by that time they're going to be
Oh
able to
yeah.
look at it, and then the
Yeah, they will.
computer in their brain will be like, these are hot Cheetos, a popular snack item from the 21st century.
Right.
And they'll be like, who the fuck liked hot Cheetos enough
This
to
much. Like did he marry?
bury,
Like what?
yeah, like a truckload of hot Cheetos?
Is this a dead bag? No, and it was just one little bag.
Oh, is this one bag?
One
I thought
little
he like
bag
stuffed
and
it
he
to the
built
brim.
no. It's this one little bag and it's suspended midair by these cables within
I'm
this
gonna remember this,
tomb.
and
Look it
whenever the
up.
fallout happens,
Oh yeah, yeah, you know where some
I'm
hot
gonna go.
Cheetos are.
I'm gonna go find the fucking hot Cheetos holy grail.
Right. You can
No, your
build a
story reminded me of something else though, that morons driving off the
oh
overpass,
right, right.
which like
Jeez.
that's a dumb thing to do.
I mean fairly, yeah.
And like I'm okay. I'm okay in the head, but when I'm going over those overpasses, sometimes I'm just like,
No, so
what if
do
I
I.
what if I just went over?
Yeah, you think about it.
And it's just like, though I guess that's what kids these days call the intrusive thoughts.
Right, right.
And I'm just like, I bet I could make it. Like if I just timed it right, hit, enough acceleration.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, the WRX, I mean, it's got a good like center of gravity and balance and stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
it might land at least on its wheels.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you drive off in a truck or a Jeep or something, and they're so front heavy
Yeah.
that you're gonna go nose first down the thing. But I don't know. But no, dude, New Year's Day, like New Year's Eve in Dallas,
Uh-huh.
there was a video online going around of some dude that was apparently getting like jumped, and he like
Yeah.
jumped into his car to try to like flee his attackers, and
Uh-huh.
somebody like struck him after he had like started the car
Uh-huh.
and put it in gear and knocked him out with his foot on the gas.
Oh. Oh.
And he proceeded to crash
Mm-hmm.
into some guy that was just sitting at a stoplight on his motorcycle. And
Oh
the dude taking the
no.
video was like running up, and I was like, "Yo, find my dude's leg, find his leg,
Oh
find
my
his leg."
God.
And like, yeah, there's just a dude just hobbling around with his leg like severed at the knee,
Ah,
and he's like not freaking out or anything. He's like just
probably
kind
is
of
in
dazed and
shock.
confused,
Yeah.
and then he sits down, and I'm just like, "Good Lord." I don't know
Oh.
what became of that guy, but hopefully he made it. He won't be riding motorcycles anymore, probably.
Yeah. Maybe he became a
Um,
kickstand.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, he lost it looked like his right
Sad.
leg.
Oh. Mm.
So that's a little bit easier to still ride a motorcycle with, because that's
Right.
your
Yeah.
braking foot as opposed to your shifting foot, I believe on most motorcycles. But
Mm.
yeah, that was brutal.
No doubt. And you don't think about, like, you don't realize until you have a bad leg or arm injury just how hard it is to do something with just one of those when you're used to having two.
Oh yeah.
Like, I injured my arm, fell out of the back of a truck. Well, I was pushed out of the back of a truck on a freeway. Long story. I've lived a rich and storied life. And I went rolling down the freeway and was running after the truck. Like it didn't hit me till the middle of the night. And I'm over at my cousin Ori's house spending the night, and I had to wake him up. I'm like, I am in so much pain. I think I need to go to the hospital. My arm. So then my arm was in a sling after that. It wasn't broken. It was just really sprained. But like, it was so hard to do things with just one arm. It was hard to put on a shirt.
Yeah.
Like, you don't think about how impossible it is to put on a shirt. I mean, how much you use both of your arms if you've got them.
Oh yeah, I don't take it for granted.
Right.
Yeah, I've known people
Hmm.
that have lost limbs or lost the ability to do things. I take my hearing a bit for granted. I should probably be
Uh-huh.
wearing earplugs at all the concerts I go
Oh
to.
yeah, definitely. But then
Um,
again, I don't know. It's you want to hear the loud sounds at the
yeah,
concert.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And like, I just haven't found good earplugs yet. Like I bought the
Uh-huh.
the fancy ones that are supposed to just reduce and filter decibel levels, but you can
Uh-huh.
still hear clearly. And yeah, it still comes out like I'm listening to the show underwater. Um,
Right.
so I mean, I haven't found a good one that, maybe I'm gonna spend hundreds of dollars to find really good ones.
I don't see how that would work. Like, I don't see how you have an earplug that still allows you like
They have a
full
hole in
range
the
of
center.
hearing.
Yeah,
But then,
it's supposed to just reduce the size of your ear hole, basically.
and that cuts down the volume?
Yes, it's supposed to
Okay.
cut down the volume, but for me, it cuts
Well, I
down the
guess because
volume, sure, but it also cuts out the frequencies.
hmm
you know, because sound is a series, and music, furthermore, is a crafted frequency, a crafted jumble of frequencies.
Yeah.
And so like whenever I use these earplugs, you know, it's I'm missing a lot of the frequencies that just aren't being picked up by my ears now. And so I'm just like, yeah, I wore them to a concert, and then I was like, you know what, I can't hear the goddamn concert. Like, pay good money to get in here.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be damned.
Right. Okay, like kind of speaking of, hearing issues and such. Is it just me, or have you noticed that deaf people are generally hot?
I have
Is
very rarely interacted with a hearing impaired person,
okay. Well, like
besides myself.
there was you're not really hearing impaired.
I have tinnitus like a mug.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's my nightmare. I mean, because I've had like, my ears ringing. I've had my ears ring for like a couple weeks once because I couldn't do any I was so distracted, but it stopped. It wasn't genuine tinnitus. It was a temporary thing because I had something going on in my ear, like an infection. But I can't fathom living with that, with just that
Um, yeah, that's
all the
literally like
time.
if
I
I
can't.
stop, like if I basically, it's so subconscious. Like mine, I guess, isn't bad,
Hmm.
but I can listen to it. Like I can turn up the volume on it, and I'm
Huh.
just like, huh, I am subconsciously subduing this constant ringing in my ears to where if I just
Right.
lay there and be like, there it is, and then focus on it, then it gets really loud. And then I'd be
Uh-huh.
like, okay, turn it off. And I just turn it off. So I guess mine isn't too far gone,
Yeah.
but I have been told that my hearing is not great because people will talk to me and I'll be like, what?
Mm.
And like
Yeah.
try to
Huh.
get a little closer, turn. I tend
Well,
to turn my right side, so maybe my right ear is better.
oh yeah.
But it also maybe I'm just right dominant in most.
Yeah, you're right-eared. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, no, there's something about like you remember things more if it's said to you in one ear. Like I think I don't remember. I don't remember how it works. But some brain thing. Um,
yeah. I have one of those
oh, you do?
allegedly.
I didn't know that. I thought that was just like a microchip and you're just kind of a puppet being
Now, if I shake it,
manipulated
it
from
rattles
a
around.
remote location. Cool.
It's like a maraca.
But yeah, there was this Miss America who was she was deaf. She was gorgeous.
Hmm.
Gorgeous. And then, there was this dude I went on a date with who was hearing impaired. Gorgeous. And then I kept meeting people who were deaf or hearing impaired, and they were just gorgeous people. And I'm like, why is that? Does like not having the ability to hear help you to have like a sense of aesthetics, like when you're looking in the
Maybe,
mirror, because you're not distracted by sounds, but your eyes are super focused on things and you can see what looks good. And maybe that's why deaf people are hot. I don't know. Or maybe I'm generalizing. I know that I
maybe you're a
am.
fetishist.
Maybe I'm a fetishist. No, I'm not. I'm like, I get
I,
online, Google hot deaf
yeah, I go to
people. Why?
deafpeoplemeet.com.
Yeah. Is
No,
there, is that a thing? I'm gonna sign up.
it's
No, I'm kidding.
assuredly a thing.
It's gotta be.
Yeah,
I mean, it's gotta be because I
it's got to be.
mean,
There's a thing
there's
for
it's
everything now.
yeah, and it makes
There's
sense
one for like
for
metalheads, like people that listen
yeah,
to heavy metal music. I can't
hmm
remember what it's called, and I am not a part of it
right. But just
because the last thing I tried like that didn't work out very well. I
finding a
did a
community of people with shared experience. So yeah, there's
exactly.
gotta be.
Yeah, I mean, this is the online dating age.
Hmm.
You know, christianmingle.com. That's a fun one.
I would not sign up for
Yeah,
like
you meet
what
you meet
Plenty
some.
of Fish is it Plenty of Fish? Isn't that a Christian one?
No, Plenty of Fish is the horror one.
The horror one? There's only one horror one? I mean, I have
It is
some
the
stories.
it is
I
the
don't think there's
premier
just one
horror one,
horror one. Yeah. Like,
from
okay,
what
I
I
didn't know
hear.
that. Why did I, maybe it's because I was associating
The
the
fish.
fish, the
Yeah.
sign of the fish, and I thought it was a Christian thing. But which one is the Christian thing? The Christian one?
Christian Mingle.
Christian Mingle. I thought there was
And
another.
I'm sure there's dozens of other ones,
Oh,
but
there
Christian
have to
Mingle is the
be.
big one.
But to me, it just kind of like it's like if I'm dating someone, I don't really care what religion they are or aren't. Like, I don't care. It
Until you
doesn't.
do.
It's just well, if that's what I'm thinking. Like when I think of something like Christian Mingle, I'm thinking, well, that's going to be the emphasis, and these are going to be obnoxious Christians. Like these are going to be people who ask me to tell them about my faith journey on a date.
Yeah, and these are also going to be the people that might be interested in the dark arts,
You
but
think?
don't have an
You know,
outlet.
like Catholic schoolgirls or preachers' kids.
Exactly.
Like they're
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
they're
They're
there
some
to
of the
rebel
dirtiest
like
ones.
Satan, the
Yeah,
dark one.
exactly. And those are some fun ones. But as far as hearing impaired goes, no, one of my favorite animes this season, which was a sleeper,
Uh-huh.
called um, it's called A Sign of Affection,
Hmm.
and it's a fun one. I've loved every moment of it so far. It's freaking adorable. I mean, you know me and my
Yeah.
it's a shojo, so its main
You
demographic is young girls.
like most of the shows you like you
Yeah,
you like adorable little rom-coms, and I think that's
I do.
fantastic. I love
I
that
mean,
about your character.
rom-com, not so much. Like I watch the
Mhm.
rom-coms, but my favorites are the down and dirty like dramas. Like
Oh,
love triangles, like sticky love triangles, fucking love that shit.
uh-huh.
Um, but I mean this one is just adorable. It's
Yeah.
a hearing impaired college student who meets a dashing young man who is quite aloof, but
Hmm.
his shtick is he is a traveler. Like he's part of the cultural exchange club at their university, and
Yeah.
like every other weekend he's flying out to like Laos or Korea
Nice. That's what
or
I want to do.
America or
Mhm.
just Malaysia, just going all over the place. He speaks five languages, and he is intrigued
I have a crush on
by
this guy now. I'm
this girl who lives in a different world than he does.
uh-huh. Well, because
And
it sounds like he's intrigued by different worlds.
exactly. And so
I appreciate that about this character.
it was love at first sight for the girl, but she had to figure out if it was just a crush or admiration or if
Hmm.
she wanted to try to pursue something. And all of his friends are trying to figure out whether or not he's being genuine or if he's just losing himself in another world
Right. Okay.
again. And so it's a
Interesting.
good time because he's learning sign language now. She's
I
all
like
in
this
and like
guy.
wrote like a full like sign language with illustrations guide for him.
Wow.
And he's as far as anime dudes go, is quite hot. And so he has other suitors.
Oh,
And
he's
then,
hot. I was gonna ask if
yeah,
she's hot because she's
she's
deaf.
cute. She's
Okay.
cute. Yeah, she's very, very cute. And she's deaf. She can't hear a thing.
Uh-huh.
She has like hearing aids, but she cannot hear a thing. Um, and I really hope that the author, because I'm probably gonna buy the manga or the novel that this is from.
Right.
I really hope the author doesn't try some miracle shit.
Oh, like where she gets hearing?
She gets
I would
hearing back.
hate
Like
that.
I feel like that would diminish the story
Hmm.
quite intensely. And like don't get me wrong, things like that do happen.
Oh yeah, they
Advancements in
do.
hearing aid technology has come a long way
But
to
I don't
where
I don't like it where it's kind of like, oh, now she's fixed. Now
now
she's
she's
a
fixed.
worthwhile
Exactly.
partner. Like I hate that because there's nothing wrong with her as someone to date and build a life with or whatever, you know. Like I hate that kind of thing. Like a
Yeah.
lot. And I value things where people, I value characters who teach us to work with what you got, like to
Yeah.
embrace a handicap and make it part of what makes you stronger all around. Like, I mean, don't you know better than get me started on Star Wars, but too late. I won't go off forever. I promise. We're doing a whole Star Wars episode down the road.
Yeah.
Um,
I was almost like, is that tonight? I was like, no, 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 it's not.
no, but there was this character in the novels, the old pre-Disney canon,
Hmm.
a Jedi student named Tanel Ka, and any big Star Wars fans from back in the day will know Tanel Ka. But she got her arm cut off in a lightsaber training accident and refused to get a robot arm like you do in
Interesting.
Star Wars. Because she was a Dathomirian Night Sister.
Ah,
Um, she was like a tough girl. And like I think her lightsaber hilt was made out of a rancor tooth or something. It's been a while. It was
that's
something
hardcore.
cool. Like she was hardcore. And yeah, and I always thought it was rad that she was kind of like the embodiment of like in the real world, like a kid reading this who's an amputee has a hero to look at who is an amputee and isn't slowed down by it. It's like, yeah, there's things she has to overcome that other people don't. Like it's harder for her to, put on a shirt, I guess, except it's cheating if you use the force, but they never went into that.
Right.
But I thought that was really cool that they did that they left her with her arm chopped off. Of course, then as I recall, way down the road, well, like she became the queen of Dathomir and or not Dathomir, because her parents were from different planets. She became a queen,
Hmm.
and freaking, she got the robot arm, and I was disappointed that they did that. But
Ah,
it was
yeah.
kind of more of a political thing, I think. But just she couldn't be seen as disabled
Right.
because that was a culture that they assassinate their monarchs left and right. They don't.
Was it
They don't
Onderon?
play around. It wasn't Onderon. Gosh, why can't I remember the name? I used to breathe this stuff. Prince Isildur was from the planet because that was her father. I don't know. But
Yeah.
the Hapan cluster, that's what she was the queen of. And I never knew how to pronounce that planet. Hapis, Hapes, I don't know, but that's where it was. But anyway,
Probably
enough
based on Greek.
probably. But
Happiness.
enough Star Wars because I won't stop. It's kind of like politics.
Yeah,
We got to
no.
avoid Star Wars and politics because we will just go for
Yeah.
hours.
No, but yeah, no, I really enjoyed, this one because I mean, I clicked on it. I was like, oh, I like the cover art.
Mhm.
And I find one or two of those every season of anime.
Yeah.
Um and this is a pretty good one.
Hmm.
Um so far, I mean, I like where it's going. Like I said, I hope they don't try to fix her, the author. Because I mean, it's fine in certain scenarios,
Uh-huh.
like soap opera scenarios, like in Domestic Girlfriend, how
Yeah.
they got better.
Right.
They were in a
Right.
coma for 3 years, but then
Right.
they've
But
got
that's
story.
a classic soap opera trope.
That is a classic soap opera trope.
The
And
comatose actor who's doing a Broadway play. I mean, the
right,
character is in a coma because the actor's doing a Broadway play or a movie and has to be written
right.
out, but they're coming back, so don't kill them. They're asleep. Like
Yeah,
that's, but
they're
yeah,
shelved for this season.
but it's like it's an easy crisis to give a character that they can come back from.
Right,
But there's enough of a possibility they might not, that there's still
right,
that tension.
right. But with like starting the story off with like a hearing impaired or a blind character,
Yeah.
like, and then to like have one of the climaxes of the story be they got better would just rob all of the genuineness of the
Right.
story. And so I hope
Uh-huh.
they don't do that. I don't think they will.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not sure how far along the story is in terms of the original um, source material,
Right.
but I love this crap.
Hmm. You do. You do.
This stuff is good. Um, like a silent voice, is a very
Oh
similar
my
trope,
gosh.
which is just a gut-wrenching movie.
That was so powerful. That
I
movie,
I constantly
A
try to recommend
Silent
that
Voice.
movie to
I do too.
people.
Anytime I recommend anime to people, though, they just kind of
They
nod
just
their head
scoff.
until I go
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like,
It's
no, but you
it's one of
don't
them
understand how
animes.
good this show is, how
And
good this
like to
story
me,
is.
movies should be easier to sell, but it just doesn't work.
Uh-huh.
I'm just like, look, you only got to sit there for an hour and 40 minutes, and it starts off with the song by The Who.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like here you have a Japanese movie, which even in the Japanese version, the opening the opening song is I think it's The Who. I could
Mm-hmm.
be outing myself as not a very genuine classic rock fan here, but it's like,
Right.
pleased to meet you. Hope you forget my name. Ooh, 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 ooh. Like,
Wait.
please.
And that was in the most recent Indiana Jones film. That was in the trailer, and it was badass the way they blended it with the Indiana Jones theme. But I don't know. See, I know
It's either the Who or the Rolling
frickin' I want to
Stones.
say Bon Jovi did that song, but I think it was a cover. And I think
Yeah,
that's the one that I'm familiar with is the Bon Jovi, or I could be outing myself as a moron. Like, because I think it was Bon Jovi, the Jove. I think they did a cover of that. But no, because
it's the
it's
Rolling Stones.
yeah, okay, the Rolling Stones were both
Sympathy for the Devil.
Sympathy for the Devil, pleased to meet you. Hope you know my name.
Yeah, I hope you
Like
guess my
that's
name.
or yeah, I don't know. Just
Yeah,
let's
I'm
just
reading it
stop. We're
now.
just
But yeah, we're
botching
just
this
bad.
horribly. We're
Yeah.
terrible.
But yeah, no, I mean that's an American ass song or an American love song, I should
Uh-huh.
say.
Right.
But it's a Western song
Right.
in a Japanese film. So I'm just like, yeah, you're gonna love it. No, but
Uh-huh.
that was a good one. I mean, there's another one, just to keep with the trope of disabled love story movies from
Uh-huh.
Japan. There's one called um Josie Josie and the Tiger, I think.
Josie and the Pussycats.
Yeah, right.
No, the tiger. No, no, I think I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it, but I've
I
seen it.
watched it
That makes sense.
one day when I was sick.
Uh-huh.
And it's an anime movie, but it's paraplegic.
Okay,
And
interesting.
it's a nice story. It's a good story, but
Dude, I once knew a hot paraplegic guy, but I don't know. I felt guilty about,
easy to do.
so to speak.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then we got canceled. Um,
You,
I got canceled.
you're the bad one.
Matt will be Autodidactica by himself
Yeah.
moving forward.
This is just
Uh,
Battlestar Galactica. No more Glenactica.
just Galactica. You're gonna go full galactic once you
Yeah.
get rid of the Glen. What was it? Freaking no, Chase had said, I thought this was funny because I was driving Chase
Chase is
home from
funny.
work. Chase is funny, but this isn't like a Chase funny that we probably couldn't repeat
Right.
in
It's true.
on the podcast. But speaking of getting canceled,
Yeah.
um like I always thought Chase should have a YouTube channel called Chase is canceled and just be Chase on it. Um but right, what the hell was I talking about? Oh yeah,
What do you
okay,
mean?
Chase. So like he was we are driving home and he just goes, and this is like last week, and he's like, so Matt says y'all are gonna have a movie night. Y'all are trying to put together a movie night to watch a movie. And I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. He said something about a movie, and I haven't even been able to remember what movie. It was when we were finishing up Faraway Paladin. And you're like, okay, next we have to do this. And it was some anime movie. I assume it was anime because it was coming from your mouth. But I mean, do you remember? Because apparently you told Chase that we were going to do this too.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know what I told him, but it definitely wasn't an anime movie.
Okay, it
So
wasn't.
we must have gone off topic when I had brought up the idea. But
What was it?
um I don't think I brought this up to you because I was still trying to put it together.
Uh-huh.
Because I know you're pretty much down for a movie.
Oh yeah.
But it's a movie that Chase would enjoy tagging along for as well. And so I was like, hey, you know, but then I got sick and yada
Right,
yada.
right. Everybody was it
But
was a
Cloverfield,
Cloverfield. That's right. You've
yeah,
mentioned that a million times. That's right. You
yeah.
did talk to me about that when we were
When we were on
watching
the
Faraway
Faraway Paladin,
Paladin.
yeah, we got off topic somehow. Something reminded me of
Yeah,
something, and
that's
we
right.
went down the rabbit hole. And I had mentioned Cloverfield,
Hmm.
and somewhere along in there. But so what did Chase say? Just
I mean,
something.
that's it. That's what
That's it.
I thought
Yeah,
it was just funny. Like it was a funny
yeah.
thing to bring up. And
Just a
it was
movie night.
this that Matt says y'all are gonna do a movie night.
Yeah, no, I was
And I'm
just
like,
kind of.
well, we
I was
do that
basically.
frequent. Like we'll have anime. We'll just watch anime, and we'll like it's not like a noteworthy thing. That's why I thought it was funny, and I was like,
Yeah, because I was trying to
I
include
don't know.
him
Maybe
on the
that's why
thing
he was bringing
to
it up.
get
Because
him off the Xbox, maybe
right,
interact with some people
I think it would
for a
require
change.
surgery, but
Right.
it would be good.
Because he's so funny.
He is
Because it's
so
just
funny.
like because like we would sit out there and just chit chat, but like he would watch the movie and then get up and then go to his room and
And
start
play
up the
video
Xbox.
games.
And I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Well, because we've tried watching movies with Chase before. Chase, I mean, for those of you listening, is our other roommate. If you haven't figured it out through
he's
context
our pet.
clues, he's our pet. We,
He's quite the character.
right? He's kennel trained.
He
He's good.
does use the bathroom properly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he hasn't
We put him
wet
in
the
his
floor.
crate when we leave the house. Chase, get in your crate. He's fine. He plays video games, just
Yeah,
like a
we just turn on
dog.
the
Just like a
TV
dog.
for him, and
Uh-huh. So he doesn't feel alone.
yeah, he's good to go.
Right. Okay, but yeah, Cloverfield. I want to watch
Yeah, no,
that.
Cloverfield's a fun one. I mean, and there's three of them, and
Yeah, that's what you were saying. You
I
wanted to
have
do them
the
all.
collection, like, because
Right.
they're not supposed. There was never supposed to be another one. I think we were talking about Star Wars because we always get on to
Hmm.
Star Wars, but
Right.
J.J. Abrams, one of his first movies
Oh.
was Cloverfield.
Okay, I didn't realize. So,
Yeah, he
okay.
directed that.
Hmm.
Um, and oh, so we were definitely talking about Star Wars because it was probably J.J. Abrams that got brought up.
Okay.
And then I was like, yeah, he directed Cloverfield, which I always thought
Hmm.
was interesting. But there was never supposed to be sequels to that.
Yeah.
Like the second one is interesting because the story goes that like it wasn't.
Oh, well, I haven't seen the first one. Tell me about the second one.
Well, I mean, do you know anything about
I
the
know
movie?
nothing
Okay,
except that
yeah,
it's
then I won't
called
say anything.
Cloverfield. That's
Gotcha.
all I know. And now apparently I know that J.J. Abrams directed the first one, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all
I
I
don't
know
know who
about
directed
it.
the next two. The third one was a direct to Netflix.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was like a Netflix produced thing. And so it's weird now like how far Netflix has come because you can buy DVD copies
Uh-huh.
of Netflix original movies.
Right. Some
And
of
it's just
them.
some of them, yeah, surely. And like so I was like, huh, we've come full circle, haven't we?
Right.
Like because Netflix could be correlated to the idea of direct to video movies
Hmm.
because
I
it is
mean, yeah,
pretty
because they're
much
pretty much
direct
the
to
same thing.
consumer.
Except
Yeah,
they have bigger budget, way bigger budgets than
way
those
bigger
old
budgets. Yeah,
crappy straight to video movies.
yeah, like How to Train Your Dragon 4. Um,
Wait, there
the
was one? I
oh
knew there
yeah,
were
no, there's a
three.
ton of How to Train Your
Oh no, you're
Dragons.
right. There were little
There are
spin-off movies.
spin-offs. Yep,
That's
tons of
right.
those. Barbie movies,
Yeah, I've never seen
the
any of
game
those, like
graphics,
the
Barbie
except
movies.
the
My
live action
sister
one recently.
loved them. And
Interesting.
God, we hated traveling with my little sister. We had the van with like the drop down TV, the DVD player, and all that.
Oh yeah, and
But
you had to watch
Cheyenne,
Barbie
my
things.
6-year-old sister, got tired watching Dawn of the Dead with her brothers,
Yo, that's
and
fair. I mean, she
and
gets to have her time too.
And so we were just like, but see, the thing is, like, I don't mind watching the Barbie movies, but I was
Uh-huh.
like, Father, Mother, could you please buy her a new Barbie movie so I
Oh,
do
I
not have to watch
see.
the
The
same
same
Barbie
one.
movie on the way to Oklahoma and on the way back from Oklahoma?
Right. Give her some
Like,
variety.
give her some freaking variety, please. Like, it was the same thing with Talladega Nights and my brother. He loved Talladega Nights,
Uh-huh.
that Will Ferrell movie, if you never
Right.
saw it.
I've never seen it. I'm aware of it, but I've never seen that one.
And it is an objectively hilarious movie, but I got so tired of it. Because, I
Yeah.
mean, movies wear out.
Well, see, honestly, like that's where I'm at with the Christmas Story movie. Like
Oh,
I've seen
God.
it so many
Yeah,
times
that was tradition in my
that
house.
I don't need to see it again anytime soon. I
Because
need
there's
to
that
give it some
TV
time.
station that plays it
Right.
all day on
24 hours on
Christmas.
Christmas. Yeah.
And we'd start unwrapping presents and we'd turn on A Christmas Story. And then
Mm-hmm.
it would just be on all day from then on. I've never seen that movie. Like from start to finish,
Oh,
I've
it's
never sat down and watched the whole thing, but
uh-huh.
I've seen the whole movie
Yes, out of
numerous times.
sequence.
Yes, because I mean,
Right.
it's not a movie that really needs to be watched in
It's
sequence.
great in sequence. It's a really good movie. It's a
And for the
really good
first like
movie, but I'm
for the
tired
first
of
like
it.
6 years of my life, like when we started doing that, I was like from the age of like 7 to like 13, I thought
Uh-huh.
this was a home video of my dad's childhood. Like because the kid looked like my dad when he was a kid.
Yeah, it's from that
There,
time
it's
period.
from that time period.
Uh-huh.
Where is that movie set? Somewhere up in the north where it snows a bunch.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly where it's set,
I
but
I
yeah.
feel like it's like Vermont or something. Like
Uh-huh.
maybe Chicago and Indiana, somewhere up there,
Uh-huh.
Midwest, northern. But my dad grew up in Maine, and
Right.
so like, and my idea of what my I met my grandfather on my dad's side like once, but I hear that he was kind of a stern man,
Uh-huh.
and I got the impression that the father in A Christmas Story was very much like my dad's father.
Right.
Um,
Like, yeah, he was a kind of that character was kind of a stereotypical man of that generation.
yep. And yeah, so I mean, that movie was a great reference for me on what because my dad would be like, "Oh, I remember that," which didn't help me,
Right, in
you
your
know.
weird delusion that this is in fact your father's home movies
Yeah, and
from
I'm just like, this is
childhood.
very well produced. I just figured that his sister was on camera,
Uh-huh.
like on camera duty the whole time
Yeah.
because she was never in it. Um, but yeah, man, yeah, I can't do that movie, and I'm not gonna watch willingly the sequel
Oh
that came out
no.
like last year.
Oh yeah, I've heard horrible things about it. It's not the first sequel either. Like,
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
but it's not like it's kind of subtle, like where people didn't even realize these things were sequels because it's from a series of books that film is based. That
Interesting. Is it a
yeah,
sequel to a
there's
never-ending story?
not in literature, but the movies, I think there were three, and I've got them. I just two was so terrible. And it ticked me off because I read the novel and I love the novel. Love that novel, just like I love that movie, even though the movie takes tremendous liberties. Once you read the book, you realize why the author hated the movie. But it's very true to the plot and the core of what that story's about.
Hmm.
But the movie, the original Neverending Story film, was literally just the first half of the novel. So there's no
Oh, we're talking
reason.
never-ending story. I thought we were still
Yeah.
talking Christmas story.
No, Neverending Story. And it's just the first half of the novel.
Hmm.
And you don't know this when you see the movie. It's a complete story, right? But no, that's where you get halfway through the novel. And then there's this whole other story, and it's great. And like, then I go see the Neverending Story 2 in the theater, or The Neverending Story 2, subtitled The Next Chapter. Which, I mean, I didn't read the book till after this, and then I learned that I hate that movie even more. Because I already hated it because it was just bad. But it had nothing to do with the second half of the novel. It was nothing.
Brutal.
And it should have been because it was set up. I mean, they had a sequel already written.
I just
It was,
remember from the movie, I checked out as soon as the horse died.
oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like I was
That
like, no, I don't like this movie. F this movie, me, a 5-year-old. I'm like, this movie can eat a bag of peanuts
right. Yeah, when you're a
because
kid, it's
they
brutal.
killed the horse.
But yeah, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm going to talk you into the Neverending Story one day because that story has power. And I didn't like the Neverending Story myself. I mean, I kind of enjoyed it, but it was a bit dark when I was a kid and saw it the first time.
Yeah.
And my mom hated it. But I had this great teacher in ninth grade, an English teacher, who instilled a burning love of that film in my teenage heart, like because he broke it down. Like the way I'll break down a story and say this actually is this and this and this. And I've since learned to break down the Neverending Story and interpret it differently than he did. But he just made it like relevant and powerful by making us kind of read between the lines, which is sort of what the Neverending Story is about on one level. Um it's
Boy,
about
we
the
left the BS behind, didn't we?
I mean, this is like BS is just, we just
Yeah.
talk. We
Our
just
our
go.
bullshit is just
It's yeah,
still intellectual a lot of times.
exactly. Which is why we started a podcast. But it's like we should share what we do.
Yeah.
But no, the Neverending Story is so good. But you can't know it as a child. You
Right.
can only be traumatized by it as a child.
Like I
But I
was.
think it's good for you. Like as my Uncle Mark would say, it puts rawhide on you. He would
Jeez.
say that about any horrible thing that happened to
And
his
his chili
child.
recipes. But yeah, no, your Uncle Mark's what was it? I think it was pork and beans recipe or
Something
something.
like that.
And it was
I
just
mean,
like hilariously written because
hilarious.
it was like start it up, crack open a beer,
Yeah.
and then add this and add that and stir, and then by that time you should be ready for another beer. So crack that open, and then do this and do that.
Right.
Go ahead and pour the rest of that beer in the pot, and then crack open another beer. And then by about this time, you should be starting on your fourth beer, and then you let
Right.
it sit down. So sit down and have another beer. It's just like he's like, if you're still awake by the time you finish this thing, then go ahead and have some
Right,
with
if you're
another
still
beer.
conscious.
Yeah, and just the fact that we found that in a tool bag next to your dad's Illuminati manifesto, and
It's a Freemason book, and I think it was
same
my
thing.
great grandfather's, but my dad had one too. Well, I think they were both in there. I have one too.
You damn Illuminatis, your New World Order.
Oh, stop. You're just jealous because we control the weather.
Yeah, right.
The Freemasons control all of time and space if all the conspiracy theories are to be believed.
Yeah.
And that's what I always loved about the X-Files, which I don't think you've ever watched. Like, I don't think you ever got
No, it
into that.
scared me when I was a kid
Really? See, you should revisit it as
because
Chase would love the X-Files.
Chase watches the X Files.
Does he?
I'm
Heck
pretty sure
yeah.
he has watched the X
Okay,
Files
I need to discuss this with Chase, but
because yeah, no, I saw an alien on there when I was a kid, and aliens
mhm.
fucked me up when I was a
Oh,
kid.
and X-Files aliens like I think that makes sense. I don't think a child watching the
No,
X-Files,
you know me, I have dreams,
right, as do
very
I.
realistic dreams, and
Uh-huh.
those would quickly turn to nightmares as a
Oh yeah.
child based
Oh
on
yeah.
anything that I saw. I didn't watch Signs
Oh yeah.
until I was like 17
Uh-huh.
because I would have some doomsday apocalyptic dreams about that.
Uh-huh.
and was I watched that with my freaking parents when I was like when it came out, and that movie came out in 2002, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And we my dad would record things on VHS.
Right.
We had a bootleg collection
Uh-huh.
of
As did
everything
we. I think
that
most
came on.
families did.
Oh yeah, man. And he was good at it too. We had The Lord of the Rings on one VHS, like
Oh
all three
wow.
movies.
See,
Um,
like I was good at that, like how to cram as much on. Like
mhm.
I don't remember how you did that back in the day, but I used to know how. And you have to sacrifice quality to get it on
Yes.
there. It definitely was not high def.
No.
But it was
But we
on
were
there.
we were watching it on an ancient TV inside a cabin in Oklahoma, so
Uh,
quality wasn't too terribly important. But they would record this stuff and they'd go up to the lake, because we would go up to the lake every weekend when I was, between the ages of like 6 and 10.
yeah.
And uh yeah, we'd watch all they'd record them during the week and watch them on the weekend at the cabin. And they were
Uh-huh.
watching signs, and I was like, okay, I don't really understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
That kid's weird. That young man is
It's
weird.
contaminated.
That
That
that kid's weird.
that kid's
I
weird.
don't like that the cornfields are shaking and the dogs are barking, but I still don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, because every time cornfields shake and dogs bark, it's time to leave the
It's
planet.
time, yes, to my foil hat will be on and the 12 gauge will be loaded and potentially pointed at myself. Um,
Right.
but Yeah, no, and but as soon as I saw the little home recording thing of the alien walking from the bushes, across the street or whatever, I was like, nope, nope.
Hmm.
And that scene would just replay in my dreams. And,
Right.
you know,
Right. Yeah.
spend and
The
spending the
alien, the
weekend
birthday
in
party
rural
alien.
Oklahoma,
Yeah,
where
no
like it
doubt.
is pitch dark
Hmm.
every direction you look, and as a kid, you can see glowing eyes staring back at
You
you
absolutely
in the
can.
forest when you point a flashlight in there, because it's all
Right.
raccoons and critters
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
But when I
And you're
see a bunch of
catching
yellow
the
eyes,
light on their eyes, like there's
no, I was
red.
like, yep, nope,
And
I'm
you're like,
out.
demons, it's demons and aliens
I
in
know
there.
it was aliens for me, man, all day long, and
Uh-huh.
I'm still not entirely like. It's been a while since I've been scared of a movie.
Yeah, same. I'll tell
Chase
you,
wanted, speaking of Chase movie night, he wanted to watch As Above, So Below.
I haven't seen
And that
that.
is, yes, and that's why I wanted to watch it. Well, for one thing, that is the last movie that genuinely freaked me out.
Oh, I'm in. What?
And it it's involved with like cave diving in
Oh,
the
that.
catacombs
Okay.
of France,
Maybe
like the
not.
catacombs of Paris.
Cave
And
diving freaks me
there's
out.
alchemy involved.
That's
Yeah,
cool. But the
it's
claustrophobia is what would freak
the
me out.
claustrophobia fucks me up.
Yeah, I don't think I could do a movie about that. It's like
It's not
that.
about that. There's a scene,
Okay.
but it's a terrifying, like that movie messed me up. Like
Mm-hmm.
it made me uncomfortable. So yeah, I don't even know where to watch it. It was a Netflix movie. So
Okay.
if it's going to be anywhere, it's still on Netflix, but
Right. Right.
I think it was successful enough to go to DVD. I think it
Okay.
even got a sequel at some point.
Okay.
But yeah, movies don't really get me too much, but aliens, I don't like aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, humans are
You,
cool.
yeah.
Like illegal aliens, fine,
Right.
but
Right.
aliens, like
Yeah.
little green men and
I
tall
mean,
freaky gray men.
it
Nope,
depends. It depends on the story and
kill them
how the
all. No,
aliens
I'm
are
just kidding.
used. Like, if they're trying to kill us or if they're trying to befriend us.
Oh yeah, like The
Like,
Abyss.
oh, The Abyss.
I love
Yeah.
The
I was just
Abyss.
thinking about that movie the other day.
That was one of the first movies where I was like, oh, they're nice aliens.
Yeah. That movie was fantastic. And you got
And that was one of my
E.T.
sick movies. I've never
Yeah.
watched ET.
I heard that about you from yourself. And
I
I'm like, God, that movie is like
I
the
I
masterpiece
have
of
watched it.
Spielberg.
like I 100% have watched it
Hmm.
when I was like 5, 6, 7, 8, somewhere around there, and I was like boring.
Oh, right. See, and it's maybe the age or something. I don't know. It depends. Depends on
And
who and
now
where
it's
you
just
are
hard
and
for
what
me
you're
to
up.
deal with special effects
Uh-huh.
of the past. Like, you know me, I mean, I love Star Wars,
Uh-huh.
but the original trilogy is a beating for me to get through
Mm.
just because I'm like boring.
You're such a child. You're such a child.
I'm a child of my time. I will
Mm.
correct you.
Hmm.
I like special effects. You know, I like
Hmm.
Michael Bay films. And
Yeah, see, Michael Bay, I think I couldn't watch 100 of those in a row. Like it's just loud explosions and low on plot. I don't know. Sometimes I'm in the mood for
robots.
that. Yeah, robots in disguise, no less.
Yeah.
But like, I love the Transformers, but like those movies kind of wrote them. Did you see all of the original live action film
Yes,
continuity?
one, two, and three.
No, I think they went to what, four or five. I can't remember.
No, they went to
No,
one, two, and three with Shia LaBeouf, and they switched to Mark
no.
Wahlberg.
Well, but it was the same continuity.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's what I mean.
That's what you
Before they
mean.
rebooted
Yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
did you
yeah. Then
see
I
that
saw.
whole story? Was it the
I
last
saw
night? Was that the last one
there
where
was
Optimus Prime is riding the dinosaur Grimlock? He's like riding a robot
that
T-Rex.
was Transformers
That
like Extinction or
Oh, is
something.
that what it was called? Oh, I thought it was the last night where they had like
Um,
time travel and something. I've seen them all. I just felt like they wrote themselves into a corner. Like they just because if
yeah,
everything
it's
blows up
Age
in
of
every movie, there's
Extinction,
not
and
much of the
then the
world
Last
left.
Night.
Okay, yeah, the last night. And by then, it's like, where do they go from here? Like they've literally pretty much
Hmm.
annihilated the Earth. Like
Because Age of
there's
Extinction
nowhere
was
to
the
go.
dinosaurs, then the Last Night was the Planet Eater
Oh,
one,
Unicron.
Unicron. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I recently saw the Last Night, like
Okay.
as in last year.
Uh-huh.
Um, and that came out in 2017. And I guess
Okay.
Bumblebee is still in the continuity,
No,
or is
that's where
that the
they
reboot?
rebooted, which sucks
Okay.
because the last night set Bumblebee up. But then
Right.
when they made Bumblebee, and that's why I've never seen it, because I'm fed the hell up with reboots in Hollywood. But
Yeah.
I'm just like, why? Why? Why do we have to watch Uncle Ben die again in a Spider-Man movie? Like, can we just not reboot things 2 minutes after they come out? But yeah, so Bumblebee, it's kind of like it has some things from the old continuity, but technically it's a new continuity.
Hmm.
So I haven't seen any of those. I want to though. Um,
Yeah, there's only
because I
two.
hear it's really good. Yeah, because the most recent one I haven't seen either.
Yeah. Rise of the
But
Beasts.
yeah, I liked Beast Wars, the cartoon. Like, it's really hard to watch now because it's like early CGI animated show. Like it looks like, um, have you ever seen it?
Possibly.
It looks like I don't know, like the reels, like when they're making films and they're trying to block them out nowadays, and they just have these crappily animated things, and they're like, then we're gonna do this and this when they're doing a live action film. I can't think of what those are called, but it just doesn't look like it's finished by today's standards. It doesn't
Well,
look
like
like it is a
placeholders.
kind of, yeah. Like it
Like they
does
just
not
have a
look
set
like
and then
finished
they
animation, but
CG
back
it in
then
there.
it was state of the art.
Right, right. I know how that goes. I've played video
Yeah.
games.
Right. And it
Um,
looks like an old video game.
like
Not
Halo
like
Combat Evolved looked. I was like, are you
mhm.
seeing this right now? They've
Right.
got people in here. Their
Right.
mouths move.
Their mouths move.
And then
And
now
now
I
they
go
look
back,
so amazing. And then you go back. Yeah.
dude, when they did Halo 2 Anniversary Edition, they redid all the cutscenes.
Really?
And you could see the pores on their faces
Oh,
and the
neat.
sweat glistening, and like I
Yeah,
was like,
video games have come a
and
long way
you
since
can
Pong.
select
An
while playing the
asteroids.
game, and
Uh-huh.
it removes it and goes to the old one. You press select and
Really? Oh, that's
overlays it with the
fun.
new thing again. And I'm just like,
That's fun to
I
compare and
can't believe
contrast.
how real we thought this looked at the time it
Right.
came out. But
And
yeah, so
now
no,
it's nigh unwatchable.
the only Transformers animation that I watched was
Hmm.
the what were they called? The Minicrons or
Yeah, I
something?
don't know.
The
I didn't see that one.
Minicons. But it was fun for me because I liked the idea. I was like 10, 11, 12,
Yeah.
something like that. But it was
Uh-huh.
the idea that like a bunch of like middle school, high school kids get some mini
No,
cons.
yeah, I know what you're
And
talking
so
about. I watched the
they were
first
like
episode of that.
it was like a motorcycle and like a moped
Uh-huh.
and like a scooter. Like they were just like little automobiles,
Uh-huh.
you know, from modernity,
But modernity, man,
modernity.
you're doing this again with the
Yeah,
words
yeah.
where we
I'm bad with the
overthink them and
words.
then we
Yeah.
can't say them.
Art.
And I love it. What was the
Yeah,
one we were trying to say yesterday?
oh, beats me. I
I
remember
finally
stumbling
got it.
over it.
But yeah.
Anglicization,
Or is it Anglicization or
Anglicization,
Anglicization? We should look that up. What is the pronunciation? I
Anglicization,
think it's Anglicization,
Anglicization.
which is Englishifying a thing. Because I am
It
curious, is it
is,
Anglicization or Anglicization or something
well, I'm
completely
very
different?
bad at reading those
Oh,
things.
pronunciation.
Yeah.
Well, if they're
I don't
writing it out phonetically, then the C would be probably replaced by an S or a K to show what it sounds like.
gotcha. Um,
But I'm not sure because I'm not looking at it. And
I'm not finding
yeah,
on a
all
quick
right.
Google
Well,
search. Anglicization. Um,
now we're at the
um,
part of the show where we just try to say words, boys and girls. That's how bad.
yeah,
That's how
we are.
senile we are in our ancient
Yeah, how hard is
years.
it to give me the freaking phonetic spelling of this thing? Usually
I
it's the first
know.
thing that comes up and I don't want it.
Man, it's too bad my unabridged dictionary is rotting in the backyard. Because
Uh,
that word is in there with pronunciation. I missed that book. It got
that's a cool
flooded.
bug. But no, yeah, I thought that was super cool when I was a kid. I was like, man, I
Uh-huh.
wish I had a little buddy that would turn into a. I also was desperate for a dirt bike when I
Uh-huh.
was a kid.
Aw.
Every year I would ask Santa Claus for a dirt bike.
And every
For the
year he would give you a photograph of his middle finger stuck
yes,
right in your
pretty much.
stocking.
Pretty much. And I got the big middle finger when I got a motor scooter. And
Uh-huh.
I was like, what in the fuck is this, Santa?
Right.
Like, no, 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 no. Like,
Like Santa Claus,
no,
have you gone senile? Don't you know
yeah,
dirt bike is?
dirt bike from a motor scooter? You mean I gotta charge it for 6 hours to get 30 minutes of riding
Oh
time?
no, that's
No, I
horrible.
want gasoline to go in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, when I didn't care anymore, after I got a driver's license,
Yeah, and
my
it doesn't,
dad
it's no longer
Santa
relevant.
gets me mini bikes. Like, I can't remember what they were called, but they were like popular even way back when. But they're like Red Riders or something.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, they were gas powered little mini bikes and they were cool, but I was just like, I have a car now. I don't I don't care. But I mean, it also was very impractical for little Garland boy Matt Paul to get a dirt bike.
Uh-huh.
Like where am I gonna go ride a two-stroke dirt bike?
Mm-hmm.
Like not happening. But yeah, I thought the idea of having a little buddy was just the coolest thing in the world. So I did
Yeah.
watch that show quite a bit.
Uh-huh.
Um,
I
the show
re
that I wish would get a reboot
Mhm.
is Captain Planet.
Captain Planet. Like you don't see that anywhere. It's
I
not
freaking
streaming anywhere that
it's not
I'm aware
streaming
of. It's like
anywhere.
gone. And it was a staple of the 90s.
Dude, I
I think.
loved
Like
that
I
show.
consider it a staple of,
That's why I'm
90s
vegan now.
animation because of Captain Planet. I don't
Yeah,
believe you.
no,
But that should be true. Gosh darn it.
it's canon now.
It's canon. It is the true
Yeah,
origin
I
of
know that
Matt's
the
veganism.
I know that the heart ring bearer was vegetarian
Uh-huh.
in the show.
Yeah, no,
The
I
kid with the
mean,
monkey,
those kids were woke as hell.
they were
They were
woke
like,
as hell.
and I love it.
It was great.
Captain Planet and the Planeteers.
And the Planeteers, man. I mean, I've always been, recycling and no
Uh-huh.
littering and all of that.
Yeah.
I think Captain Planet was a huge influence on that.
Right.
I won like a prize when I was in elementary school
Uh-huh.
because I drew like a poster
Yeah.
about like it was for like Earth Day. It was like a
Hmm.
contest, and it was just like some scuba diver like picking up trash in the ocean
Yeah.
with all this marine life that second grade me did my best. And I thought it was the freaking Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
My
Nice.
mom kept it. I've still got it somewhere, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Is that an elephant underwater? Like, but I'd gone to SeaWorld and I saw Shamu, and so
Hmm.
I knew how to draw an orca whale,
Yeah.
and it looked more like an elephant in hindsight.
That's fantastic.
But
You were trying. It's
yeah,
good. It's an artistic expression and you were just being it was a stylized orca is what you
yeah,
tell people. It looks exactly how I envisioned it. It's stylized.
yeah. This is my opus magnus here. You can see what he did with the pen strokes of
Magnum
the
opus.
Sharpie, magnum
Yeah,
opus, whatever it's
magnum
called.
opus. I love what you just
Opus
said.
magnum,
I'm gonna have
Magnus, Opus Magnus.
opus magnus.
That sounds like a freaking
That
spell in Skyrim.
I know it does. I want to, yeah. I'm gonna write that down and put that somewhere. Opus
Yeah.
Magnus.
uh, but no, man. I used to go and sit outside in recess
uh,
and just draw the class rabbit. I was such a weird
really?
kid. Yeah. I had a whole spiral notebook of just nothing but
Pictures of the
rabbit
rabbit?
drawings. Yeah. I got pretty good at it. I'm not a bad artiste,
Yeah, no, you're
but
not.
I just never pursued it
Uh-huh.
because I have ADHD. I can't
Right.
stick to one thing that I like to do.
Hmm.
Jack of all
True. It takes
trades.
willpower.
Mm-hmm.
Takes willpower. I mean, because I've got it too. I had to train myself because I didn't like taking the meds. Like it really annoyed me. And so I wanted to stop taking them, but I didn't want anyone to figure out that I stopped taking the pills, the
Ah,
ADD pills to make me focus. So I just made myself focus.
yeah,
I
I've
mean,
never been
imagine that. I didn't have
medicated.
to be medicated. I could just make myself focus. But it was
Right.
really hard because I like ADD is a real thing. I don't think it's a disability
Allegedly.
though. Like I think it's not a disability. Like if you go back to hunter-gatherer days, that was a gift. Like to be able to focus on all these things at once, to split your attention, you know? But now when you're supposed to, sit in a cubicle for 8 hours or whatever and focus, like now 88, and you're in school for 6 hours, sitting at a desk, unable to move. Now ADD, ADHD is considered a learning disability, but it's
Right.
not really a defect. It's that society has made it. It is society is uncooperative with it. I think the defect is in society. The defect is in chaining a kid to a desk or chaining an adult to a desk for all these hours, like just doing one thing here. It's like, no, that's not the way humans are designed to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but what are you gonna do? People need their surveys.
That's true.
And so
Oh,
I
I
got to sit here
know.
and draw surveys. But I did do better as a barista. Like my
Hmm.
mental state was better as a barista because it suited
A
my
juggling it. Yeah.
personality
Uh-huh.
a lot better. Now, that is to say, like, I'd probably do better at managing
Hmm.
a barista team
Oh
than
yeah,
I
I could
would,
see that.
because I mean, I went through so much poor management.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, the best manager I ever had was one of your friends that we
Oh,
found out was a
Brandy?
mutual friend.
Brandy.
Um,
I love Brandy.
Things were great under her.
Uh-huh.
And then we switched departments. And so I was
Hmm.
no longer under her and I got passed off to different department managers. And things were no longer great after that.
I could see that. I mean, going from Brandy to anyone would suck. I mean, because Brandy
Yes.
was like, we were real people. Like when we worked at that Barnes and Noble together, we were like the resident Jay and Silent Bob, or more like Jay and Not So Silent Bob. But like Brandy understood people. Like she knew people. And a lot of like managers and people with a corporate mindset, like they don't understand people, they understand numbers and rules. And you can't really work well with human beings if that is all you understand.
Right.
If you don't
No, I mean
understand,
that's how my Starbucks manager was. She was so on the track
yeah.
to get to the next level from store manager to district manager or something.
Right, right.
And when I put in my 2 weeks, man, I got called in so fast to like
Hmm.
have a talk with her
Yeah.
because she was like, "Why are you leaving?" I was like, "You literally just gave me a 15-cent raise."
I got a 10-cent raise
Like
once.
like I one of our best employees.
Hmm.
People would be calling the store in the mornings to see if I was going to be there in the
Yep.
afternoon. And oh, we can't hand out that information. He's like, he said it's fine.
Yeah.
And because the customer's always right, so I'm not gonna, not riff with them and be like, yeah, I
Right.
mean, yeah, if you want to know when I'm working, feel free.
Hmm.
Um, I wouldn't tell that to people, just anybody.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
I
same.
had
I'd
a
have my
ton of
favorite
regulars.
customers that
Yeah.
would ask for me and wouldn't, like, they'd stand aside and wait until I was available.
Yeah, no,
They wouldn't even go to another bookseller.
I'd be on, when I was working at Starbucks, it was 3-man shifts, like for
Yeah.
the afternoon from 2 to 10. We don't get any help.
Yeah.
That was a brutal shift
Hmm.
because it was labor intensive. You got one guy on drive-through, one guy on cafe, and then one guy who's also the manager oftentimes making all the beverages.
Yeah.
And so when we had like hot times, like unrealistic, like why is everybody coming to Starbucks right now at 7:30 on a Tuesday? And you
Yeah.
get no help. And so I mean
Hmm. Jeez.
I'd get a regular that would come in, and David, he was he was a very dark man. He was in a
As in,
very he was in a well no, he had a dark personality, a fuck
okay.
you personality. Like
Okay.
just to paint a quick picture of him, his wife or his baby mama was a meth head, a
Hmm.
jobless meth head,
Yeah.
and he worked 3 jobs to support his
Oh,
child and his meth head baby mama.
that's a tragic story. Yeah.
And so he would wake up in the mornings 7 days a week. He had no 6 days a week. He had
Mm.
1 day off per
Oh
week,
my
and that was a
gosh.
Thursday.
You
He worked
can't.
at Starbucks 5 days a week, and he worked at a steel mill
What? Wow.
6 days a week.
Oh my
And so
gosh.
he would get up at 6 a.m. No, sorry, he would be at the steel mill at 6 a.m. 6 days a week until noon.
Uh-huh.
And then he would get off from that and then go drive to Starbucks, put on his freaking button down and apron and then work there from 2 to 10:30
Oh my gosh, I hate this
and
man's
then would
life.
go home, look at his son, and then fall asleep and then get up the next day and do it again. And like he hated me when I first
Uh,
started working there because I didn't know how to do anything.
right.
Not my fault. I'm
No, not your
new
fault. If
here.
you're new,
Like,
you don't know how to do things.
and then like he'd show me it like really half-assedly
Mm-hmm.
and then would be pissed when I did it wrong later. And
Right.
so I learned over time and we got close eventually. And yeah, which is how I know all this stuff about him. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
hope he's doing great. I hope he's doing good
Oh, I do
because I
too.
felt
Never
for that
mind.
man every day
Uh-huh.
because not only was his baby mama like not, good,
Right.
but she ended up cheating on him too.
Oh, geez. Dude's working 3 jobs to support you and your kid, and you cheat on him? No, no. There should be prison for that. That's
And
just
he had like cop
make me
buddies
not.
and was able to get a hold of some snake cams
Uh-huh.
that like you push under the door to like check if there's
Okay. I was about
hostiles
to ask,
inside.
what is a snake cam? I'm just
Yeah,
picturing like a snake with a GoPro.
yeah,
But
no, but I mean it's pretty much what it is. But yeah, you push it
interesting.
under a door and you can view the inside of a room before you breach it. For like the police and SWAT team and stuff. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's how he gathered all the evidence to basically get full custody of his son. Because she would go into the
Okay.
bathroom and smoke meth,
Yeah.
and she'd insist that
Oh.
she wasn't. She would have
Mhm.
like her affair partner was her meth dealer,
I was about to guess that
and
because it sounded like that's where the story
yeah,
is going because
and
that's
dude,
not uncommon.
I felt for that guy so bad.
Yeah.
But we'd be in the trenches together, and when he quit, he basically got forced out, um, because he
Hmm.
started dating one of the baristas, which I guess you're not really
Oh,
supposed to
yeah.
do.
Mm.
Um, but I was so happy for him.
Yeah.
I was like, "You ever gonna come back?" He's like, "Fuck no." Uh, but yeah, no, that job was terrible. Especially after he left because we got somebody worse because that's what happens.
Hmm.
We got somebody else who was corporate tracked mind, except she was just awful. Like, there's no way she would ever get a higher position than a shift manager, even though she spoke like, "Oh, we need to do it this way because of that and this, and they want it done this way." I was just like, "Okay, then do it. Like, why are you talking to me about it?" She'd make me late to get out every night. But yeah, no, when my store manager sat me down when I quit, she was like, "Why are you quitting?" And I was like, "Well, I got a 15-cent raise. I would have liked that to have at least been $1." She's like, well, I can't do that." And I'm just like, "Well, Brandy came through my drive-through and was like, come do the same thing for me for $4 more an hour
Hmm.
at Whole Foods." I was like, sold, and just about
Right.
jumped out the window. I was like, "You're lucky you're getting a 2 weeks notice from me
Yeah.
because I'm going in for an interview my next day off, which I've already been told is just a formality."
Hmm.
So yeah, unless you can give me, at the time, this was huge money for, 20-year-old Matt, but, I was like, if you can bump me up from I was making 8.55 at Starbucks. And
Jesus.
I was like, if you can, and Brandy was like, $12. And I was
Like
like,
$12 makes me hollers. I'm
dude,
there.
good God. I was doing the math and I was like, it's like $8,000 more a year.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah,
Un
and she's like, "Well, I can't do that." And I was like, "Well, then see you later."
Uh-huh.
And
Good. Good. I'm so glad you got to meet Brandy though.
oh, she was
She's so
awesome.
fun. You know that we did I ever tell you that we were writing a novel together at one point? We didn't finish it because
Was it
our
one of those one-page novels
no, like I
where
would
you
write a
pass it back?
chapter and then I'd hand it to her and they'd all be
Oh,
we would try to stump each other. That was the goal. Like we'd write a
end on a
novel with an
cliffhanger.
epic cliffhanger and then the next person would have to write the next chapter, and we would go back and forth. It was about living turds. It was called Brown, a Love Story,
Oh my God.
the never-ending novel. That was the full title. And I still have those chapters somewhere. But and it was
On one of those hard
hilarious.
drives.
And it must never be seen
You're
by the
right.
world. It must never see the light of day, but I would show you. I mean, I would love to find those and I would send those to her
Yeah,
and see
she
if she too would be like, this must never see the light of day. It's funny, but it's just wrong.
God, she's got like an 8-year-old now.
Wow.
I was just doing the math in my head.
Uh-huh.
Like, because one of my favorite stories of her is going up and seeing the child
Oh yeah. I
and
never met
being
her kid.
like, "Aw, she's got your eyes," to Brandy,
Uh-huh.
um, who has no genetic attachment to
Right.
the child at all.
Yeah.
Brandy got a huge kick out of that, and I was pretty proud of that one. But yeah, no, I was just doing the math because that was like it had to have been 2016, and so
Mhm.
like the child is turning 7 this year, if my
Wow.
math is correct, right? No, the child would
I
have
don't
turned
know.
7 last year.
Okay, so he'd be turning 8 this year. Or
So it's
she. I don't know the gender of their
I don't
kid.
remember if it was a boy or a girl.
We could Facebook stalk them, but I
Yeah.
don't. I'm bad at Facebook stalking.
Yeah, she texted me, and that's how you found out about it.
No, yeah, because I commented
Because
on
you
your
and her
post, and
both.
then she's like, "Wait a minute, that's what it
No, I think I
was."
commented on one of your
Yeah,
posts.
something like that. Because then she was
And
like,
I was like,
"Wait,
yeah, because I was
you
like,
guys know each other?"
well, no, because she didn't know who I was. Because she knew me as Winslow.
Right, because I remember
And
her
my
commenting
handle is Matt
Winslow.
Paul.
Is that
And I was
yeah,
like, because I was being cheeky with her in the
yeah,
comments. And
yeah,
she was like I was talking to her like I knew her, and then realized that she didn't know who she was talking to.
yeah.
And then I was being cheeky with her, and then she eventually caught on. And
Uh-huh.
you were the one who texted me. Well, you both texted me. You were like, Brandy? And she was like, Glenn? I'm just giggling at my surveying job at that point. I was at a
Right.
Chipotle when all this was going down. My one, I missed that Chipotle. I had such a good
Mm.
relationship with those very, very nice Hispanic women,
Uh-huh.
barely spoken in English. I would speak Spanish to them, and they would teach me little bits, and always got a kick out of it.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
I can't speak.
Yeah, like Brandy and I used to go there was this Mexican restaurant next door to the bookstore we worked at, and they knew everything that we would order, and we knew these people at some point. Like they were characters. It was great. And I always order the chicken chihuahua or something. That's what I would
Chicken
call it.
Chihuahua.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Was it a chalupa?
I don't remember. It was a long time ago, but I would
It's a
always
white
call
people
it
thing, chalupas.
chihuahua.
Boy, I love me some Mexican food, man.
Oh yeah.
It
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
love me though.
No, it hates us all. Like it tries to tear us apart from the inside, but it's really good.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, no,
really tasty.
but it does not agree with me. There are very few foods that do agree with me though,
Mm. Well, I mean, it's hard to agree with you.
like
You're
porridge. I am very
porridge.
argumentative.
You are. You
Yeah,
are. You are quite contrary.
I am contrary. I argue for the sake of arguing a
Yeah.
lot. Part of it is
Yeah.
my willingness to, like, especially with you, I love playing devil's
See, and I
advocate.
genuinely hate that.
Well, because I
Because it
don't like
angers
our
me because I feel
conversations
like I
turning
feel
into
like
an echo chamber. That's the main
Right.
thing I can't stand about an
Hmm.
intellectual conversation. Is it just being like, you know what sucks? This. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah.
Right.
And you know why it sucks? Because this and this. And
But
it's
see,
like,
like to me, devil's advocate is something you use with morons who can't think outside of the box. Where I would prefer if someone was like, hey, think about this, or what do you think about what if you looked at it this way, or think about the people who see it this way, and what do you think, why do you think they see it that way? Or, something like that, instead of pretending. He's like, I love Donald Trump and crap, and just upsets me, and I don't like to be upset. And
right.
like that's what it is. And you could present a hypothetical to me and my mind is capable of going there, but when you pretend
I don't know. Your
to
mind is
be,
capable of, well, there I go again. I was about to be devil's advocate.
yeah, don't do it. I mean, I don't
That,
genuinely hate having conversations with you. I
right.
genuinely hate when people feel that they must devil's advocate me because that's intellectually insulting. At least to me, that's how I perceive it. That's how I receive it. Is
Hmm.
that you don't think I'm intelligent enough to come over to this way of thinking and try to see through this point of view. You feel like
Yeah,
you have
but
to trick me into it.
the main thing is that I just don't think that I think receiving it, because yeah, I can put myself in someone else's shoes, just like I can, put myself in the shoes of you know, a long jumping skier
Hmm.
and think about it and think about it. But it's different to be challenged by the jump.
Mm.
And, you know, that's the only reason, like, because I mean, I don't really think I play devil's advocate to piss off somebody.
Hmm. Well, no, because that's not what you're thinking. You're just
Right.
trying to get the conversation out of them or get what you want to see what they think about when
When
they're,
properly
yeah,
challenged.
exactly. Like you're trying to push their buttons to get them to think in a certain direction or to defend a position in a
Right.
particular direction. And I mean, I get that. So you're not thinking, oh, I'm gonna piss somebody off. You're thinking about,
Right, and I guess that's what it is too. Is like that's I see what you're saying now because I was having trouble picturing what you meant by like it's intellectually assaulting, or you do it to morons to piss them off, or people you think are
yeah,
morons.
because that's the only
Um,
way you can get them to go there
right.
is
Well, I mean,
to,
it'd be like me going on to like a science channel or a NASA thing and being a flat earther.
exactly. And see,
And
and when you could just say, hey, what do you think about the flat earth thing? Like, what,
yeah,
I don't
like
know. Or you
what
could
about
say,
a
allow me
firmament
to play
or
devil's advocate and speak the way that they would. Like, if you did that, and I know
it's a thing
that,
about I mean, I just do it. I see what you're saying, like, but we're not strangers. Like, I would do that if I
yeah,
actually
yeah,
respected the sphere of conversation that was happening. I might
uh-huh,
preface with "allow me,"
yeah,
so you don't come for me with pitchforks and torches.
right.
But yeah, yeah, you're fun to put on in the spotlight and make you defend a position
Why?
because you do it so well.
Would I defend
And
my position so
yeah,
well? That's good to know.
yeah,
But
no.
see, I don't enjoy being upset at 1 in the morning when I have to get up at
Yeah.
5. When I have to get up at 5 and you get me all riled up and like, oh, okay, I've got to tell Matt why he's a moron for his what he's saying and that I can't let this go because I'll go to bed having lost all respect for the man. I
Yeah.
have to I have to get him back from the dark side. What it's like, I don't know. But no, I mean, hate is not I didn't want to hurt your feelings. That's not
No,
what
you
I meant.
didn't.
Like,
My feelings are
okay,
unhurtable.
that's not true. But
But
um no, so I feel like I worded that harshly. But yeah, it frustrates me is what I would say when people try devil's advocate stuff with me because they don't have to. I
yeah,
have a
I mean, it's easier to present like it's easier to like play devil's advocate than generate like within the realm of a back and forth conversation rather than a like typed out or well
Mm-hmm.
thought out discussion. It's easier to play devil's advocate than it
Mm-hmm.
is to come up with genuinely good hypotheticals
Mm-hmm.
because it flows into the conversation better. It's easier to speak from the stance of the opposite perspective than it is to speak from a stance where I currently stand while thinking about the opposite perspective.
Yeah.
It flows better off the tongue than
I
trying,
see. Yeah, it's
basically
easier. I see what you're saying.
I'm not gonna spare your feelings in the midst
Mm-hmm.
of a genuine discussion about something.
Right.
Like your feelings are relevant
Mm-hmm.
to the 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 meat of what I'm trying, the ethos of what I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
get at.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, keep doing it. I mean, don't stop
Oh,
being
I'm
you.
not. Yeah,
But I will
I can't,
probably
even if I
try to
tried.
remember this and be like, okay, are you playing devil's advocate here or are you actually a moron? Because do I need to get upset while defending my position or can I just defend my position?
Well, I mean, to be
And
fair, a lot of last night was my genuine feelings,
okay.
but that's not something, that like basically I am in turmoil constantly
I see.
with
So
the way I feel about things.
you're struggling to determine what your position is on some things.
Oh
And
yeah.
so you'll light a fire that Glenn then has to put out to hear what I have to say about it.
Right. Right.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
yeah, I mean that's pretty much, I mean I do play devil's advocate a lot, but like
Mhm.
last night was a, I mean I don't want to keep
Right.
teasing
Yeah,
last night,
I don't want to go
but
back.
yeah, no. And I mean I have a lot of stuff that I could say too, because I kept talking about it till I was up till 3 a.m. last night with
Uh-huh.
Todd, just continuing the conversation.
Jeez,
And
I was losing my voice. I don't know how you did it.
well, I mean I wasn't talking to him on the phone.
Oh, okay.
I was
Gotcha.
texting,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, no, I mean, ooh,
Right.
yeah, no,
But
we would have
I mean,
done
I
well in
say
Greek
things like, "Are
society.
you a moron?" But it was a good conversation.
Right,
I
right.
enjoyed it.
No, and I don't,
But
and I don't feel moronic
okay,
either.
good because I'm just saying stuff.
Right. And and I definitely did say some moronic things.
Yeah, yeah, you did.
And like, upon
But
further
I said wrong
reflection,
things too, and you were able to point some things out, and I was like, okay. I had to stand corrected on a couple things I said.
well, I mean, my main stance on correction would be that
Or
like
I got to stand corrected. I had the privilege of standing corrected. That's what you should look at
right.
it,
The
not
main thing that I thought about afterwards in terms of my own stances was that I I have all these stances with no solution, which you pointed out multiple times.
Yeah, yes. That's where I was
And
getting revved up. I'm like, okay, so do that, do that. You
yeah,
know?
do this or do that. And yeah, no, and I'm just like, well, I'm just not a happy person, I guess. Like,
Right. But
uh,
I feel like we're at a point now where we're kind of excluding the audience because we're either
yes,
gonna
we
have
are.
to go
Yep.
there or we're gonna
Nope.
have to keep talking
Yeah, get it,
around
get it,
the political conversation we had. And
get
if
it
we
out of
go
there.
there, it's gonna be another 3 hours. And
3 hours.
so,
Nope. Easily.
yeah, easily. And
And
we'll probably go there in future episodes deliberately. Like we'll
oh yeah.
devote time to these things, especially in an election year.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I think every episode of season 2 could probably be just covering politics. Like
I can't wait until we have our brainstorming uh meeting for season 2 because I could see that.
there could be a lot of like breaking news.
No, that's
This
what I'm
week's topic
saying.
was supposed to be Matt's obsession with big titty anime girls, but instead we're going to be doing uh you know Trump just admitted to this or that, or
Right, right,
Biden just had a heart attack. What does that mean?
right. Uh-huh.
Like,
Like, yeah, I
you
can't
know,
wait because I have some ideas just for and it
well, I
sounds like
mean,
you do
yeah,
too.
well, I mean, no, I don't. It's just more
Mm-hmm.
things could be over overlooked, like, or overwritten.
Uh-huh.
Uh, you
Right,
know,
right. Which
instead of
we
doing the topic, we are going to do Roe v. Wade instead,
Yeah, which we talked
because
about when we were brainstorming season one, because we
yeah,
said, if something happens in the world, I think we should
yeah,
set
one of the episodes basically
aside the
did turn
planned
into a Roe v.
topic.
Wade thing.
It did, one of the early ones we were
I don't
talking
remember
about.
which one it was.
It was early, that's all I remember. One of the first three,
Something like
easily,
that.
that we did.
We'll say
But,
something bullshit instead.
well, like what? What do you consider bullshit? Like,
Oh
I don't
man.
know, like, huh?
No, no, I consider a lot of things bullshit.
Well, I mean,
Um,
politics is, but it's like serious stuff
NFTs,
you have to do.
um, cryptocurrency.
Oh, geez.
Uh,
Yeah. What are you doing? What are you?
I was looking at our previous topics. I don't remember what we've done.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'd have to look it up too, and I've got it right here. I've got it up. Let's see. Human
It was probably the
nature.
politicians
It was
one, the second
probably
episode.
American fascism. It
Yeah,
has to have been
it
American
has to have been
fascism
that.
where we went off because I think the decision by the Supreme Court had just been
Just
made.
dropped. Yeah,
Yeah, and so that really it didn't
it lit a
take
fire.
yeah, it
Fit.
flowed into our topic. It didn't
Hmm.
replace it. It was a prime example
Yeah, and it
of
just.
American fascism.
But if that
And
episode had been, a nonstop episode of BS,
right.
we probably would have been like, do we really want to
Hmm.
do that while this is happening?
Right. No, exactly. I think we would have felt compelled
Yeah,
to do something. But if you have nonstop BS, I mean, all that means is we're just going to talk about what we talk about.
that's true.
Because it's, we're just sitting here BSing. That's
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
it
If you
is.
want actual BS in, we should, like I said, we should have had Chase on here.
Right, because yeah, but then it's
Because the things that come out of his mouth.
not say like I did a conversations in sunglasses episode
Oh
with
yeah.
him and I called it Chase NSFW personified. Just so people knew before they opened it. Everything said in this episode is going to be uh yeah,
Subjectively, uh,
gonna
not
get me
okay.
canceled. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna be wrong. And what does he talk about? Banging Aztec women. Like, if he could go back in time and bang Aztec women. And yeah,
yeah.
I'm not even gonna go into Chase's
I
fetishes.
mean, if I could go back in time, I
But
would give an 800 milligram edible to Helen Keller.
weird. or like shrooms. Like give
Give LSD
like
to Helen Keller.
LSD. Like give Helen Keller LSD. Uh,
That's evil.
is
That's
it? I mean, it's
I'm quoting a
science.
meme. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I
I'm
didn't know
quoting a
that.
meme, but
It sounds like science to me. It sounds like it's like someone, Helen Keller. I don't understand how. I just
how?
don't understand how. The
How?
Miracle Worker is an apt title for that movie about Helen Keller's teach because I watched that movie and I still don't understand how. How do you teach someone who is blind and deaf to speak and
Well,
to
she didn't
understand what
speak.
she's saying? She
She just
did
learned. She
because she was
wrote,
all
didn't she?
she spoke.
What?
Wah, wah. That's
That
what she
was
was.
bad.
That's why
Cut
she
that.
said water. Like she was trying to say water, but and I don't understand I do not
Man,
like. I'm
yeah, I
fascinated by
am.
it. Is what I'm saying.
Well, just
How?
now learning that she was able to verbally communicate, I am learning that I am severely underlearned on
Right.
Helen Keller.
Right. I mean, I am too. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty darn sure she could speak.
Because I could see
No.
learning how to like read Braille.
Read Braille, sure, maybe. But again,
Like, how do you
like
communicate
how
to
do
her
you
what it
communicate what it
means?
means? Because can't hear, can't see. I don't
The only
understand.
you've got touch, taste, and what's smell. You got touch, taste, and
Right.
smell. That's all you got to work with.
Yeah, and I just and I know like in that movie, she's like putting her hand on her face to teach her to speak and put her on her throat or whatever. I still don't understand. I think it's made up. I think Helen
Helen
Keller
Keller's a
wasn't
lie.
she wasn't real. That's
Yeah.
it's propaganda.
Probably
It's woke
it's left,
propaganda. It's the
yeah,
woke
it's woke
mob wants
media,
you to believe in Helen Keller and
fake news.
round earth and that the
Yeah.
moon is not a hollow bell or whatever like the
The moon is just
like
a spying base.
right it's yeah, it's built by aliens, the aliens who came to earth to teach us how to tie our shoes.
Yeah.
Like freaking ancient
Obama's the
aliens.
ambassador.
Oh, right, because Obama, he's a reptilian.
Yeah,
That's
no, and
that's how that. Can you imagine if there's an opposite of Autodidactica out there? I want to know who these guys
yeah, it's
are.
called Alex Jones.
Oh, holy crap.
Yeah.
We should have him
Turning the
on. We
frogs
should have
gay.
Turn the Frogs gay. That
Oh
guy is
man. Oh, kill.
clearly insane. He's clearly insane. Like, I don't
And
understand
what's
how he
sad
gets a
is he didn't and what's
followers.
sad is he wasn't always insane.
Was he not?
Like you go back to his earliest works, and yeah, he's spouting off about conspiracy theories, but he's still
Yeah.
spouting off about plausible
Plausible
conspiracy
conspiracy
theories
theories versus batshit crazy.
versus absolute. Like, I recently saw like some clips of his old stuff
Uh-huh.
before he was doing his own thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, like, this guy's spitting facts. Like, I'm with him on what he's talking about right here.
Uh-huh.
But it's crazy to think about how far he's fallen,
Mm-hmm. And
how far he's gone down the rabbit hole.
I've only seen crazy Alex
No,
Jones.
I didn't know. I thought he just showed up one day, started doing InfoWars.
He just escaped from an asylum and got a
Yeah,
podcast. Like,
seriously,
I mean,
because I
that's
had
what we
never
did.
heard
Like,
of him before the initial campaigning for the Donald Trump election. I'd
uh-huh.
never heard of him before
Right.
till he started till Bernie Sanders took the stage in my early adult life.
Yeah.
Who's been around apparently forever, so I'm told.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
See, I didn't know who Bernie Sanders was until not long ago. Like I didn't know young Bernie Sanders. I didn't know, he's been around forever, but I wasn't aware of him, I guess, until he started trying to run for president.
right.
Or just before that. Like he was a possibility. I don't know, but I love Bernie Sanders.
I love SeaWorld.
Are you playing devil's advocate?
No, no, like I love the idea of SeaWorld.
Okay, there you
Like,
go.
if there was a way to ethically do SeaWorld, I would
Uh-huh.
fucking love SeaWorld.
Well, we went there,
We
remember?
did.
Like,
I've been to SeaWorld many, many
yeah,
times.
I've only been the once when
And
we
now the
went.
only and now the only way I'd go is to picket it.
Yeah, same. Like, because I
And
think back on like, because we went and watched the orca show, and now
mhm.
and the dolphins, and you know how my hands swole up like Cabbage Patch
Yeah,
Kids because
apparently
of
you're allergic
dolphin
to
pee.
dolphins.
Like, and that's what I love when I go to the doctor now. Like, when they ask, I hope they don't ask this question specifically. I like it when they say, "Do you have any allergies?" And I'll
Hmm.
say, "Nothing but dolphin piss." And they'll say, how did you discover that you're allergic to dolphin piss? And I just say, I've lived a rich and storied life.
Yeah.
That's what I say. But yeah, but the SeaWorld, those dolphins, those are sentient beings, and they're in like a trough
Yeah,
full of salt water, just like 30 of them, just begging for food, and their dorsal fin. That is no better. I'm not saying it's worse, but it's not better than human slavery. You know, like
right.
those creatures, those sentient living creatures are being tortured for our entertainment.
Yeah.
It's awful. But yeah, like the
If there was an ethical way
idea
to
of
do it, it'd be
SeaWorld,
freaking awesome.
exactly. Like
Like, I
if
almost miss
SeaWorld,
being ignorant because then
right,
I
no,
could
I know
just
what
go
you
and
mean.
enjoy
That's why they say
the
ignorance is bliss.
ignorance is bliss.
Not
Like,
untrue.
I haven't gone to a zoo yet, and I don't know about the ethics of I haven't I haven't had the strength to dig
Mm.
deep
Right.
and and weigh the pros and cons because from what I understand, zoos are objectively more ethical.
Yeah. It depends on the zoo,
Right.
always.
So
And
the
often it depends on the
Dallas
country.
Zoo and the Fort Worth Zoo are, from what I understand, objectively more ethical
Hmm. But they are
than
still keeping animals in cages in
right.
like
Keeping
contained environments, these wild creatures that were designed to live in open forests and jungles or rivers and lakes. Like, I don't know. It's,
right. And
but
it's
at the
tough to
same time,
rationalize.
well, because we did like it's kind of like what we talked about a couple episodes back, with the personhood of animals. It's like,
Yes.
where do you draw the line on, when an animal knows the difference, for one thing? Like, because an elephant that has been raised there doesn't know the difference and genuinely is attached to their human caretakers, and you take them away from that and put them in the jungle, and who is the good guy? Like, it's the am I the a-hole thread? Like, who is it? Is it
Yeah.
the
No.
zookeeper or
And
the
then
person
like
trying to take the elephant who's been born and raised in captivity and put it out in the wild?
and there
Like,
are
who is the
reasons
a-hole?
for animals to be raised at if not born but raised in captivity. There are reasons
Hmm.
for that, as in they were injured by poachers,
Right.
and so
Right.
they would die in the wild,
Hmm.
and so they were taken in and raised in captivity. Do you just
Yeah.
release them back? Well, guess what? They will die because they don't know a
Hmm.
world outside of captivity.
Yeah.
Same thing with I mean, you know, there won't be I don't know how many are left, but in terms of SeaWorld, there's not supposed to be any more orcas kept in
Right.
captivity.
Right. Which is good for
Um,
orcas and for the planet, but it's not good for SeaWorld's business
no, it's not.
because that was the big draw.
That was the draw, Shamu.
But we've
And
done Freed Willy, so how are they going to make money?
right, they're supposed to shift more towards an educational thing
Well, that would be cool.
and more of a theme park combined with educational facilities
Uh-huh.
and things like that, to where the because I mean aquariums, I mean fish are morons for the most part.
Right.
You feed them and give them enough space to swim around, and they will live a blissful
Right.
existence.
They're fine. Little to mid-sized fish, not big ones like
Anybody
sharks.
that's not top of the food chain.
Right,
Dolphins are
exactly.
top of the food
And
chain.
well, and they're not fish
Orcas are
technically.
top of the yeah, they're
Yeah.
mammals. And I mean, orcas top of the food chain.
Hmm.
Great white sharks top of the food chain.
Yeah, and you can't
Anything
keep
that
them alive in captivity.
no, you can't. Not for extended periods.
No.
I can't remember. I did research, but the longest one was like it was a little less than a year,
Hmm.
and they re-released it, and it died literally in the bay that they released it in.
Wow.
Like it literally was just like, I'm gonna die now.
Oh, that's
And it
awful.
lost the will to live. It pulled a Padme. And
Hmm.
yeah, so I mean that was the last one. And no great white sharks have been attempted to be held in captivity since then.
Right? This is what Jaws 3 was all about.
And yeah, right. And then but like fish, they're like, sweet, I'm no longer a part of the food chain.
Right.
Like awesome. And so I
Uh-huh.
wonder that about like zoo animals. It's
Hmm.
like, huh, I
Oh,
get to
true.
eat, I get to socialize, I get to not be preyed upon.
Right, like a bunny rabbit in the zoo
Would love it. They get to
is
fucking
more,
eat.
yeah. And they're
Like,
more than just hopping adorable food. Like rabbits in the wild are living chicken nuggets, which is also something we
they
talked
are.
about a couple episodes ago. Like they're
Yeah,
nothing but prey. That is what
prey.
they are.
And that's why they procreate as quickly as they
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
And why they have just enough defensive ability to sometimes get away.
Right, to hop. And
Yeah.
it's
And
I
why
would
they
hate to
also
be a
have the
rabbit.
defensive ability to just die.
Hmm.
Like, if you startle them, they die. So they don't feel any pain when they do get caught by the coyote.
Right, except when they do, and I don't even want to go there. Like it's too much. It's too
Well, they
dark.
die pretty quick
Yeah.
because they get ragdolled, and that's instant spinal snapping.
Mm, yeah.
Um,
Happy
and
thoughts. Happy thoughts.
hey, man, that's nature for you. It's nature
True, I
scary.
know, I
Damn, nature, you
know.
scary. Um,
Well, that gives me an idea for a topic.
well, I mean,
Anyway.
that's Family Guy. That's a quote from Family Guy.
Oh,
Damn,
I know.
nature,
It's
you
not,
scary.
that's not what
Okay.
gave me the idea. It's just the direction we were going there gives me an idea for a topic. But but like back a few minutes or whatever, like I just realized, one of those I was today years old when I realized
Huh.
that why conservatives hate people who are woke.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, it's because, and that's not the topic I was talking about, but no, it's just that's something that was in my head, but we've moved on. But like, ignorance is bliss. Like, woke is nothing more than being aware and pointing out the horrors of that they're being perpetuated by our culture and society.
Right, which is
They
why I've
are
had,
blissfully ignorant and they want to stay blissful. You woke people are taking away our bliss. It's
yeah,
very simple and it never really I'm like, why are you upset about people
yeah,
being aware of problems and wanting to fix them? Well, it's because you don't want to be aware of the problem.
yeah, they are
You want to
all,
just be blissful because ignorance is in fact bliss.
yeah,
Like if you
they're
don't
all
know SeaWorld is
cipher.
bad, you get to go watch the whales do tricks.
Right.
Uh-huh.
They're all cipher. They don't care that the steak is fake.
Right.
They want to eat it. They're all cipher.
Uh-huh.
Plug me the fuck back into the Matrix.
Right.
I do not
Right.
want this. Like,
Exactly.
if you don't
No,
know who
that's a
Cypher
per
is, if
no,
you
I
remember,
do. I do know.
okay,
And I
you're
think that's a
remembering.
perfect
Yeah,
analogy.
yeah.
That's
The plug.
exactly
I don't
it.
care that the steak is fake. It tastes damn good. It tastes real. Plug me back in.
Yeah, and
I don't
yeah,
want to know. I don't want to be awake. I don't want to be woke,
you don't want to be
which is what
woke.
the
And that's what the
Matrix
Matrix is
is.
all about, being woke.
Being woke.
Literally, they're getting woke from their little pods where they're plugged in. Yeah, to hey, we've been living in a simulation. We're
Right.
batteries. Our bodies are being used as
And
batteries.
the thing is it's easy to sympathize because I've been
Yeah,
fucking chronically depressed since I started
right.
understanding how fucked up the world is.
Yeah, it's hard. And because I feel like when you're aware of the problem and you're an ethical human being, you have an ethical obligation to call it out, to
Right.
stand up to it and to not go along with it. You know it's wrong now. You know. So you're
Yeah.
complicit if you keep going along with it. And there are some instances where it's horrible because you can't not go along with it. It's like you can't boycott Walmart because you can't afford to shop anywhere else. You know it's wrong to give these monsters money, like Amazon. Same thing. It would be better to boycott these people, but what else do you do in today's world?
Yeah, no, and I mean, here's a hot take for
Like
you. Then this is
driving.
not me playing devil's advocate, but this is something I've genuinely thought about. Is like what you were just saying, I can't afford to not shop at Walmart,
Hmm.
even though I know the atrocities that are happening there.
Yeah.
But imagine I'm trying to get to work and I have to drive through a protest that's protesting the
Uh-huh.
death of George Floyd or something. And now
Yeah.
I look like an asshole
Right. Because you
because
have to go to
I've
work.
got to go to, I'm
You
late.
have
This is
to.
slowing me down.
Yeah.
Honk, honk. Let's, okay. Yeah, yes, I'm
Hmm.
very sympathetic. I changed my
Yeah.
profile picture to a black image. Like
Yeah.
but I have got to get to work or I will get fired. And people
Right.
are throwing shit at my car
Uh-huh.
and,
Because you're a bad
beating on
guy.
my shit.
Uh-huh.
And then guess what? I run them over because
Hmm.
they're now assaulting me. And I
Right.
feel for people like that. Like,
Right. Because they don't
because
have a
th
choice.
there was that was happening in
You have
Dallas.
to feed your children, you have to pay your rent.
The protesters were on the fucking highway.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, and they're
Right.
throwing bottles and shit at cars that are
And
going by. And
see,
I'm just like, what are you doing?
yeah.
Like,
It's
you
like
are
it's
participating in active anarchy.
right, and they're not aware of it. They're not aware that they're crossing a line because it's mob mentality. Even if you're there for a good thing, I think protesting is fantastic. Even if I don't agree with the protest, I agree with your right to protest, and that, it's because you're standing up and speaking out based on your ethics. But once you are in that big protest group, the danger of mob mentality is real,
Right.
regardless of what you're protesting, regardless of your ethics. If one person is of the mind that, oh, we need to throw bottles at the cars, then everyone's like, oh, that car is the enemy. That's what we're protesting. Mob throws bottles at cars. It's very rare for someone to say, hey, wait, mob, like Nazis,
Yeah.
who
There's very
just
few
following
whistleblowers among the
orders.
woke.
Yeah, right,
And but yeah, no, I mean, I've thought about that. Now I work from home, so I don't even have that struggle.
right.
But a lot of those people probably knew where the protest was happening and actively were going there to try to
Mhm.
drive through the mob
Yeah, no,
to
some
become
were,
victims.
and some were, and some of
And
them to have an excuse to accidentally hit one of them with their car. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, exactly.
accidentally, like,
Accidentally
yeah,
drive through a
like
mob
there,
of
it's all
people.
it's all crazy and scary, and
And
I
but
don't
I
know.
also agree with the idea of protests don't do much to change anything because it's the idea that
Hmm.
uh nonviolent protests don't work against an opposer that uses violence. Like
I see what you're saying.
like
Yeah,
that's the
but it
idea that has
is.
been presented to me multiple times to where you can protest all you want, but at the end of the day, the other side is using violence.
Mhm.
And a nonviolent protest doesn't work against violent
Right.
opposition.
But it's more like the protest itself can't so much directly make changes. But what it does do, it's like by making yourself visible in a massive group of like-minded people, what you're doing is showing everyone how many people are opposed to what's going on. And that
True.
informs some people. That's really what it is. It's kind of lighting a torch in a dark cave
Right.
and saying, hey, look at this. Look at what's going on. People who haven't, it's kind of like, wake up, get woke. And that's
Mm,
why some people hate the protest because they don't want to see the evils inherent in their society.
right.
But the protests don't give you that option. The protest,
Right.
and a lot of people will start to see what they're talking about. And over time, you know, it you get politicians who have seen what these people are talking about and who will fight at the federal level to try to change things. And the people who do eventually directly make the changes have been influenced by protesters and such. They've been
Surely.
influenced by people standing up and speaking out.
Right,
It's
because they
like
want to get
Frederick
reelected.
Frederick Douglass didn't end slavery by standing up and speaking out, but he informed the people in the North of what the evils were going on down there. He gave them firsthand knowledge, but All he did was talk. Arguably, he did nothing to make a change. He didn't change anything. But the change happened from a direct line from people standing up and speaking out and saying,
Right. It was an
here
empathetic
is the
chain
evil.
reaction.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't think protests are valueless.
I don't think so either.
Hmm.
I wouldn't go that far to say that they are valueless. I would say that when like in the rare instances where mob mentality does take over, they do more harm than good
Oh, absolutely.
because
Especially when
they
there's
pour fuel on the
riots.
fire. Yeah, they do pour
Most
fuel on the
riots
fire.
are bad. Some riots are necessary, but
Right.
rarely.
Or I don't know if necessary is the word, but more like inevitable.
I guess, yeah, it could be inevitable is a better
Like an
word in some
inevitable,
cases.
yeah, because like sometimes the travesties that have occurred are so heinous that
Uh-huh.
to expect anything less than a riot would be inconceivable.
Yeah, absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
so like
It's
you can't
justice.
you
It's the
can't
only way to get justice
it's
sometimes.
it's a ventilation.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, but it's hard being empathetic in
Mm-hmm.
2024.
Mm-hmm.
It is
It's
it is
exhausting.
it's exhausting being empathetic
Yeah,
because
because there's so much.
you know me and my rewatching of things,
Uh-huh.
but I was rewatching Demon Slayer. That's what I've been doing for the last
Oh, I would
three
love to
three
rewatch
days.
Demon Slayer. That's such a
Um
good show.
yeah, new movie coming out. That's the next.
Really?
Yeah, that's the thing that's happening is a
Oh,
movie.
sweet.
It's gonna be the Hashira training arc, so it's gonna be
Nice.
awesome. Because Tanjiro is about ready to become a Hashira.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, but you were,
but yes, no. So I'm on season 3, so
yeah,
the latest
that's the
season,
latest one. Yeah, okay.
the Swordsmith Village arc, and the
Mm-hmm.
demon presents the idea, of you know, Tanjiro was trying to kill a demon, and part of his demon self, which is separated from him, says, "Why would you try to hurt something so weak who's never
Uh-huh.
done anything to you?"
Yeah.
And whereas this demon has killed hundreds of people,
Right.
and he's like, "Were any of them your family or relatives? Did you know any of the people that I've killed?"
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, "No, no, I haven't." And he's like, "So why do you care?" And something similar, go back a couple episodes, happens in Tokyo Ghoul.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ghouls falls in love with a human, and the human in love with the ghoul, and the main character Ken is like, "How can you love a ghoul?" And she's like, "Well, I probably wouldn't like it if he killed someone close to me,
Yeah.
but as long as it's nobody I know, I can
Right.
overlook it." And
Right.
it's
You
sort of
have,
that mentality,
mm-hmm.
is like, it's hard for me to care
Mm-hmm.
about someone I am utterly detached from.
Mm-hmm.
And I do, to a degree, but it's like as soon as I start caring about every person, I start hurting,
Yeah.
and almost unnecessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to where, like, if I let myself be too open to empathy, I can't make it through my freaking day.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. How am I
I
supposed to go
get
to work
that.
tomorrow when I feel the weight of the pain in the world?
Right. I mean, it's literally like you have to walk past homeless people
Yes,
and
yeah,
because it's like and I hate that because I feel for them. I do. But, I literally can't help them. I don't have it's like I'm barely making ends meet myself.
right,
It's like I literally can't do what I know needs to be done, which is far more than handing them some change.
right,
And
and
I don't
past handing them
have
change.
change.
Yeah, past
But
handing them change, I'm also scared of the depths of despair of humanity.
uh-huh.
Like, I don't know how far someone is willing to go. And so, like, I am, like, not going to follow you down a dark alley
Mm-hmm.
to, exchange goods with you or whatever. Like, I'm
Right. Well, you have to
like,
be smart about things, like
right. Well, I'm
dealing with
skeptical of
strangers.
humanity. Like,
Exactly, strangers. It doesn't matter about, poverty or wealth. Like some people are
well,
humans are
yeah,
dangerous
humans are
animals.
dangerous animals and conniving.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I've pulled some shady shit to get what I wanted in the end.
Truth.
I've never murdered anybody or,
Hmm.
to that extent, but like comparing my own experience to how down bad I was for one thing or another and then pulled some shady shit to get it, compared to how down bad this person must be compared
Hmm.
to how I was and the extents I went to get what I wanted, which was menial.
Right.
This person could go a lot further. I could probably go further were I down bad enough.
Hmm.
And so yeah, it's difficult, like you said, to walk past home, drive past them. I,
Yeah.
I got
Right.
nothing for you.
Hmm.
Like, hey
Yeah,
man,
and
can I
I
get
hate it.
$5 of gas money? And I'm just like,
Uh-huh.
I don't have $5.
Exactly. And that's what I hate. And like it's kind of like they don't believe you. And I hate that too. Like when you actually engage with them when you can't help them. But I think it's awful to just because nothing hurts. Imagine being on the street in need and people turn away like they don't even look at you.
Right,
That's what hurts me the most to do because I do that because I know if I make eye contact, I'm going to have to explain to them that I can't help them. And I hate that. And I know that they're going to
right,
not believe me
right.
and think I'm lying or, I just hate it, but I can't help them. And, but when I saw that, remember the day of the freeze last month?
Yes.
And I drove to work because I texted and I was like, "Hey, are we doing this?" Because it was time for me to leave. Where I'd get there, no response. I get there, then I get a text, "Hey, we're not opening until 11 today." I'm like, "All right, thanks for telling me when I asked at 6:30." Um, but then I had to drive back home. There's a homeless person always on the road, and you're not always the same homeless person.
Right. That was Martin
But
Luther King Day
was it?
because I was just off that day
Oh, that's right.
because I had spent the
That's
night at
right.
Courtney's house and like I was just off.
Hmm.
And like I remember because I didn't come home until later that day because I wasn't going to drive home
Hmm.
because Chase was supposed to go to work. I was supposed to take Chase to work.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, that we're not doing that. Like
Yeah.
and yeah,
But
because the roads were not great.
right, they were terrible. But yeah, so I'm driving home and I go past the part where there's the homeless people and
Right.
this
Harry
dude
Hines.
is losing his mind. He's out in the cold. People are turning away and not looking at him. And he's screaming and swearing at everyone and throwing his sign at cars. Like he's over it. And I'm just looking at him and I can't blame him one bit because I think if I were standing out in the cold, being ignored by the world, that, the phrase there all wait, there but for the grace of God go I. You know, it's like I have been a little bit more fortunate than that guy. And, the world is turning on him and he's out in the freeze. And it's just so awful. It's so hard to watch and know that there is literally nothing I personally right now can do to help that guy.
Right,
Yeah.
without putting yourself at great risk.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
tell him to hop in your car. You could tell him
Right.
to you could bring him right to our house.
Right,
You
but
could.
no, but how would Matthew Paul feel if I brought a screaming, swearing homeless man into our house? I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
that's why I
Exactly.
can't do that because it's not just my house. And I
Right.
don't have the resources. Were it just my house, I don't have the resources to support a homeless person
Right.
to
What's
feed and
next?
clothe them
What's
and help
next?
them get work, and they don't have a car, and like I would just be taking on a dependent who I don't have the power to empower.
Right.
And that's why that's not really a realistic option. Because that's what you think, oh, I should be picking this person up and taking them to my house. But
Right.
what can you actually do
There's a certain
when you've
there's a
done
certain
that?
line of realistic
Yeah,
like
exactly.
outcomes
And
that you have to process.
yeah,
And
and
they are often not they are empathetic because you are obviously
uh-huh.
feeling,
Right. You
but
have the
they are
empathy.
not practical.
Yeah, because realism for an empath hurts.
Yes. Like, and that's why I turned my empathy off
Uh-huh.
back in like 2015, was because like I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't
Right.
feel for the whole world. It is
Yeah.
literally crushing me every day.
Right. It
Like
crushes you, and
I'll
I
turn it
can't turn
on.
mine off.
Yeah, no, I'll turn it on for a little bit in certain situations, and I'll turn it on to have discussions.
Hmm.
But for the most part, mine just remains off
Right.
in most day to day because I cannot
It's like you put
think.
up blinders, is
Yes,
what you do.
yes,
It's
and
not that you can't see over there, it's that you're choosing not to.
it's so
It's
that
not
I
that
can
you
keep moving
can't
in a straight
feel
line.
what people are feeling, it's because you don't want to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like you're just
If
trying
I'm a
to take.
racehorse, I'm trying to stay in my lane. And so
Hmm.
I need to put on the blinders so that I am not freaked out by
Right.
all of the commotion that
Right.
is happening around me. And that is
Uh-huh.
all I can do to stay afloat.
Hmm.
And it's like, yeah, just, just, I just got to keep swimming.
Yeah.
And you got to
But
swim
see,
past the sharks and the predators and and
right.
then the obstacles that you got to leave the wounded fish behind sometimes. And
Sometimes because you don't have the ability to carry them. And
I don't have
to
thumbs as a
me,
fish.
right, you don't have thumbs. What are you gonna do? You can't even build an igloo. Because I
Yeah.
assume if a fish could build a house, it would be an igloo. I don't know why. But like I think the because you and I can't pick up a homeless person in our car and fix their lives. But
No.
we have the guilt for some reason, as if we could. But I think the ethical burden is honestly and truly on the people who do have the resources and use them to build spaceships shaped like dicks to fly themselves into space, where I wish they'd just stay. But, the rich, the 1% who could end these problems by putting their money into social programs that actually do something, that aren't dependent on government funding. They could do it. Those are the people who should be feeling the tortures of empathy, but they don't. And that pisses me off
Right. I saw a
because,
headline about I think it was a Utah man
yeah.
who was like a multi-millionaire, and to
Hmm.
solve the homelessness crisis in his own community,
Hmm.
he built like hundreds of homes out of his own money
Uh-huh. Oh,
and
nice.
like single-handedly like combated the homelessness
Right.
situation in his own community. And
Hmm.
like I don't know the veracity or the validity of that headline.
Well, it's feasible, and new money would probably do that. It's the old money who just feel entitled to everything, and that if you don't have money, you did something wrong. You're just poor because you're lazy. What do you mean you have three jobs? Get a fourth one. You're lazy. But like I just had an epiphany about Batman. Like, Batman is well, now he's a billionaire in the comics due to inflation. Even it
Right,
used to be millionaire playboy Bruce Wayne fights crime by night by beating up the criminals, right? He goes out
right.
into the alleys and beats the hell out of the criminals, all of whom are probably criminals because they came
They
from a
can't
background
afford.
of poverty.
Have you
And
ever seen
so,
Joker?
no,
Oh
I haven't
God, you
seen
need to
it.
see Joker.
Okay, I didn't see it because it wasn't part,
Because that's
it's
literally the plot.
Is it?
is that
Okay, it's
Gotham is falling apart. It's poorness,
and
homelessness, and drug addicts,
and Bruce
and
Wayne could be
and they're
solving this with his
and
money
Bruce
rather
Wayne
than
is
his
up there,
fists. Then
and
like, but
yeah, that's Joker in a
oh, that's
nutshell.
great. Okay, I'm sold. Like no one
Yeah,
ever told
Joker
me
is
what that movie was
amazing.
about. I didn't
Joker
care
is
because it was
amazing.
outside of the continuity of the
Right. No, but
main movies,
it's
but
it's like Maleficent, which you also need to see.
oh right, we
Uh,
talked about that because you wanted to see Sleeping Beauty,
right.
which
Yeah,
I
I don't
highly
want to, but I
I want
will.
you to. I love that movie just from an aesthetic
But yeah, that's
perspective. It's
what
a
the
beautiful
Joker is
film.
about. It's painting the city of Gotham as it's falling apart. People are living in, cesspools,
Hmm.
and meanwhile the rich get richer
Yeah,
and talk about we're gonna
including
clean up
Bruce Wayne.
Gotham. We're gonna fix Gotham, and but
Hmm.
nothing ever changes.
Uh-huh.
And then the Joker is born through constant belittling, and he was like, I don't know what the continuity of the DC comic Joker is. Um,
Convoluted. It's convoluted.
Especially because I've seen like several iterations of Batman
Right.
through the
Yeah.
years just in
Yeah.
animation.
Hmm.
And the Joker's either he's radioactive this, or laughing gas that. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But this particular one is born of mental illness and poverty.
I love that.
And
It's, sympathy for the devil.
yes,
It's like
and
I
he's an
love that.
anti-hero in
Yeah.
the Joker.
Hmm.
And he becomes the messiah of the downtrodden.
Hmm.
And dude, I freaking loved the Joker, especially like the first time I actually sat down and watched it all the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. I mean, I think there's a sequel. I don't think it's come
I
out
don't
yet, but
think
I
that
may
it
have
hasn't
missed
come
it
out. I would have at least heard about that.
because I think Harley Quinn is going to make her appearance. Yeah, no,
Okay.
she is. It's freaking uh Lady Gaga.
What for
Yeah,
real?
yeah, Lady Gaga is Harley
That's
Quinn.
weird, but so is Harley Quinn. I think that could work. I could see Lady Gaga as this, you know,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't speak French, but it's Joker Folie à Deux.
Foley. I'd have to read it, but
Yeah,
that's
F
interesting.
O L I E A with an accent, and then do DEUX.
Which is two.
Yes,
So it's
or
just
second.
based something like, it's the Joker 2. They're just being fancy about it.
Yeah,
Do you know like the
that's also a Fall Out Boy album, by the way,
oh,
apparently.
okay.
Delusion. That's what it means.
Oh, interesting.
Um, delusion or mental illness shared by two people in close association. A
Okay.
classic
Oh,
case. I'm not saying it correctly.
but that's the Joker and Harley
Filet
Quinn.
à deux. Filet à deux.
She was like his psychiatrist and fell in love with him was the original story, which, I don't
Mm,
think she didn't originate in the comics. She originated in the 90s cartoon. And
mm.
then they brought her into the comics because she was such a popular character. Because just the
Dude,
concept was so brilliant.
her and Batman Beyond she was a baddie.
No doubt. I didn't see much of Batman Beyond,
Dude,
but I
there is a scene
love the
where she is
premise.
about to um have her way with Batman,
Interesting.
and they make some serious implications in this Cartoon Network cartoon where she like has him
Fantastic.
tied to a bed in his boxers, and she like
Wow.
gets dressed in front of him,
Hmm.
like she has the lights off and you can see a silhouette of her
Uh-huh.
nude, and then
Oh,
she gets
wow.
dressed and then the lights come on, but it's obvious like the lights come on and
Uh-huh.
she's still nude, but now you're only looking at Batman,
Right. You're
uh,
looking at Batman looking at her.
looking at her, and then she
That's
gets
great.
dressed, and
Uh-huh.
then she gets on top of him and says,
Wow.
"Oh, looks
That
like
was a kid's
somebody's
show, allegedly.
excited." Like,
Wow.
and like
Respect. Okay.
And yeah, I was like, I don't remember this scene. Um,
Because as a child, you didn't fully comprehend it or whatever. Like, what were
or
you a child? You were a child when that
I
show
was a
came
child.
out.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but I also didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Like I watched it when it was on. I was not a continuity person until
Hmm.
really until streaming services became available.
Right. That's when
Um,
everybody, it's common now. You see a show, you see every episode. But back
right.
in the day, you didn't see every episode of a show.
No, I missed a few, you
Yeah,
know.
because you had something to do that
When
day
did
and it's
Goku
only
become
on
a
at
Super
2 o'clock.
Saiyan? Well,
Right?
you know. Yeah, I missed a lot of things.
Yeah, like I mean, I to this day, I've never seen every episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, I have. Thanks to
Yeah,
streaming
it's on my
services.
list. Yeah,
Yeah.
streaming services. I'm starting from Dragon Ball and going forward, but
And
it's
if you want
kind
to
of
buy all the
tedious.
DVDs, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars
Holy crap.
because they sell
Mm.
those things for a exorbitant price. But yeah, no, I mean, so back on the subject of just the empathy of billionaires nowadays.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's
Is
a
that a
little
thing?
no, it's not. I mean, not in any um um what's the word I'm looking for? Real capacity. I was trying to find a smarter
Right.
word. But comparatively, not in any comparative capacity. How about that?
Uh-huh.
Um, it's the not to get all religious on our listeners if they've made it this far,
Hmm.
2.5, 3 hours into this.
Yeah, I was gonna ask we gone how long we'd been doing this.
Yeah, since about 9.
That's what I
It's
thought. It's almost
midnight.
midnight. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, the whole thing about the parable about a man giving its his only
Hmm.
what is it? What was it?
His
I don't know
only
the currency.
begotten son is what are you talking?
No,
Oh no,
no,
no, no. You're
the
talking
where
about the talent or the
the
money.
talent. Yes,
Like
the
the
talent.
woman who had only one. Is that what you're
Gave
talking
it.
about? And
Yes,
she
and
gave
then
it, and everyone else gave a ton of stuff, but they held back a ton of stuff, right?
mhm,
And so Jesus was like, she gave more than all of you.
exactly.
Because
Eh,
she had it was less
me
comparatively.
me giving a homeless man $5 is
Mm,
more than Bill
Jeff
Gates
Bezos. Yeah.
gives.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
because it is more of my
It's more of a
wealth.
percentage of your overall, yeah,
Yes.
your
And so
money.
like yeah, there's no comparison when it comes to the wealth that billionaires have historically spread back.
Hmm.
Like there shouldn't be billionaires. Like you should
No.
not have like okay, billions of dollars in assets, that's
Yeah,
one thing.
but sitting in the
But
bank,
liquid money in
mm-mm.
the bank is ridiculous
It's
to have
unethical.
more than $1 billion.
Yeah.
Like
It
it's
really is
unethical and
just
it destroys the
disgusting.
economy.
Yeah, it does.
Your all your hordes of millions rotting in their vaults
Uh-huh.
because that's all it does. It
That
does
is
nothing
all
to
it does.
stimulate the economy.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, the idolization of that is
Hmm.
disgusting.
It is disgusting. I completely agree with you. Jeez. No,
Because you ask a normal person what they would do with $1 billion
hmm.
and they could spend it in a day.
Oh yeah, for real.
They would buy a house for themselves, their mom, their
Hmm.
dad, or whoever. They would buy a house for their friend. They
Hmm.
would buy, a new car, maybe not a luxury car, but just a good car. They would,
Yeah.
pay off their student loans. They would give to the homeless. Like
Uh-huh.
they
Yeah,
would
no, that's what I
like
think about if I
they
were
could spend
very
$1 billion
wealthy.
in a day.
Uh-huh.
And now there is the idea, like Jeff Bezos has pledged to, by the end of his life, having given all of his money away. And I'm
Well,
just
when's
like,
he gonna die? I
yeah, I'm just like,
mean,
well,
that
hurry it up.
right. I
Like,
mean, because I mean that's why people were instantly making jokes. Like it was never too soon when that submarine imploded full of
right.
rich people.
Right.
Like we're
Doing things
at
they shouldn't have been doing.
eat the rich point of the economy here. Like that's how the everyday person generally feels. So they implode in a submarine. We're like
Right.
dumbasses.
Right. And then
Like
you had the few people that wanted to get more shares and likes and stuff talking about empathy.
right. And well,
And
it's hard to have empathy for the people who don't have empathy for the people who are this is what they're doing with their money. Instead of, for it's hard to have empathy for Bruce Wayne when he goes around beating up poor people instead of doing things to help prevent criminals from happening with his money.
right.
But invest in education, give them like I don't know. But yeah, there shouldn't be billionaires. And it's not like it's not like savings accounts are, because, one of my uncles once went off on me for saying something on Facebook about the hoarded wealth of multi-billionaires. And he was like, well, my generation calls that a savings account. And I'm like, your
Hmm.
savings account does not have billions of dollars that are gumming up the economy in it. It is fine to have hundreds of thousands of dollars in a savings account because you could potentially have hundreds of thousands of dollars of emergencies, of medical bills, of,
Right.
family members having emergencies. Like, and you can then cover all of that. You can also lose your employment and be all right. It's
Right.
okay, in my opinion, to have several $1 million in a
Right.
bank. That's not unethical because you can potentially
Well, especially
it's
because of the fact that several $1 million doesn't go as far as it used to.
exactly it
Like like
doesn't. But when
like
you
a million
have
dollar home is considered, middle of the road nowadays.
right,
Like
right, right, that's true. Like if there were a middle class still, that would probably be something they could do.
right.
Like
Which just makes me feel incredibly poor.
oh yeah, well yeah, you're the working poor. Like it's
Like looking at
absurd.
housing prices is
Mhm.
just ridiculous.
Uh-huh. It is. It infuriates me. And it infuriates me that, me, Chase, three men with full-time jobs who can barely make ends meet with our income, you know? Like savings accounts and such aside, like with what we earn every month, the three of us collectively have to pay for the rent in one house.
Right.
When my father could work in the 70s and my mother could stay at home and teach me how to read before I started school, you know, and he could buy a car, he could afford children, a dog, all that.
Whenever little Glenn
One
breaks his
job,
arm.
one job.
Yeah.
But I mean, and it started to change when I was a kid, where, both parents were having to go to work. But in the beginning, one person, one income could finance a household. And we're at the point where three full-time incomes are needed to finance a household. Pretty much. I mean, we did it with two, but it wasn't easy.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, that's what ticks me off about
Yeah, there's no middle class.
there
It's
is no
it's the
middle
one, yeah,
class.
it's the ultra rich,
Hmm.
and then
The working poor, the
it's the ultra rich, the
wage
rich, and the
slaves.
working poor.
Uh-huh.
Like, because like
Wage
if you make
slaves.
per household, if you make 200 to $250,000 a year,
Uh-huh.
you're pretty good. Like that's apparently the new middle class. But then
200,000.
yeah, 200 for
And that
the
used to be rich people.
right, right. And you're able to buy a house.
Uh-huh.
You're able to have some kids, start
Hmm.
college funds for them. You're able to, that's the dream
Hmm.
is, making per household about $200,000 a year.
Yeah.
And, you're able to buy cars within reason,
Hmm.
buy a house, finance a house, get a 30-year mortgage,
Yeah.
and to have kids with college funds and not really worry about the grocery bill too much, oh
Hmm.
ha ha, our 6-year-old son drank all the Capri Suns today. I'll have to scold him for that, but it's not going to
Right.
kill us.
Right, exactly. It
And
doesn't mean nobody has lunch for a week.
right. And then it's like next is like $45,000 a year
Hmm.
per household. It's like
Yeah.
there's a huge gap
Right.
in that. There's so much disparity
Hmm.
within that it just doesn't, it's just disgusting.
It is.
And
It's
yeah, no,
vile.
I mean, having empathy for billionaires whenever they go up and
Mm.
smoke in
Yeah,
a
like,
rocket ship or implode in a submarine,
hmm.
it's not an easy task.
Right, because
The
how,
protagonists of my animes would have empathy no matter what, because it's a
right,
human
because they
life
have, yeah. It's like Demon
that has
Slayer
been
in
lost.
particular. He has
Yeah,
empathy for everyone. There's always, after he kills the big bad, there's always that flashback where you see him like seeing them as like,
his brother or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
And
and he's seeing the humanity of these demons that he's killed, but no, it's like we don't see the humanity of the monsters with all the money who they're
not easy to
monsters.
do.
And not every single there are philanthropists. There are rich people who do invest in social programs and
Right.
trying to make the world
Like
better,
Bill
and they're all
Gates.
new money.
Well, I mean,
But
Bill Gates invests in tons of medical research.
uh-huh.
And people, the main thing is like there's so many conspiracies about him.
Yeah, there's conspiracies about everything.
And because he's not new money. I mean, I don't know if you can still consider him new money.
Bill Gates, didn't he didn't come from a rich family, did he?
No, I guess that is new money
Yeah,
then.
new money is you're the
He's
first
old. Yeah,
generation
yeah,
who
yeah,
is
yeah.
rich.
No,
That's
he
like,
started that shit in his garage.
yeah, no, he's what you would call new money.
He is new money. So I guess that is fair. He's just old with new
He's
money.
old, but he's the first generation. Like,
He's not a
so
Rockefeller.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, so
Do
I
the
mean, Bezos
Rockefellers
is
still
new
have
money,
money?
isn't he?
Yes. And see, but that, and I was just thinking that, like,
Because he was
it
driving a
doesn't,
Toyota Corolla
uh-huh.
until like 10 years ago.
But new money, you can be a sociopath who just devotes yourself to acquiring wealth. And you're not going to be a philanthropist when you come into money, you know?
Zuckerberg.
Uh-huh. Like, but some people, like, you're gonna invest in, like, George Lucas is building museums and things and affordable housing to piss off rich people with his billions. Like, there are billionaires who give other billionaires the finger, but most billionaires are old money. They are detached. They have no clue what it's like to be a normal human being.
What about Tony Stark?
Tony Stark. I mean, that's a whole, that's basically similar to Batman, but
He got better.
yeah, he got better. But I like his characterization because I feel like his characterization is just, he's a chaotic human being.
Right.
He has good
He's
and
a
bad, and
chaotic
I'm
good.
thinking comic books, but they did a good job of it in the movies, I think, of portraying Tony Stark.
Yeah,
They
because
didn't go
by
quite as much into his demons, like his alcoholism and stuff, but
right.
that they only have a 2 hour window for a story. They don't have long arcs in the comics. But yeah, it's like he's a flawed human being. And I like that about most Marvel characters. That's one of the things that made Marvel take off was that, DC was putting out all this original superheroes and but they weren't really relatable. Whereas Marvel's putting out, Spider-Man, he's not a millionaire playboy. He's struggling to make ends meet, trying to sell photographs to newspapers. Like,
Of himself.
Spider-Man's eating ramen in underwear he's been wearing for 2 days. Like, he's a
Yeah.
relatable character, like
Can't
Tony
fix the
Stark.
door on his apartment.
Right. And Tony Stark, it's like, yeah, in the comics, like he's a rich man and he is
made his wealth off of
Yeah,
murder.
yeah. But he's also this flawed, relatable human being.
Right.
He
I just remember
struggles with
by
addiction and he's got human problems. So though he is a millionaire, billionaire, depending on what decade you're reading it, he's a
right,
flawed human just like you. That's
right.
what I love about the King
And
David arc in the Old Testament.
he just happens to have more money than he knows what to do with.
Right. And
I feel like
sometimes he does the
I feel
wrong
like
thing.
that would be an easy problem for me to fall into
Hmm.
personally, is like having more money than you know what to do with.
Hmm.
And like, I mean, this is a thing about, when poor people win the lottery.
Oh, yeah, it leads to
They
depression a lot.
like, yeah, because they're so scared it's gonna get taken away again
Hmm.
that they don't spend a dime of it.
Right. And
Like,
they're used to the struggle. Like they
right,
don't know, it's hard to believe it. That
right,
like I've experienced that
right,
with not millions of dollars, but just when I have a good sum of money, I am terrified of some rich person stealing it, honestly.
right.
Like, because that's what happens all the time. Like like the bank will start fining things away. The bank has fined my bank account out of existence twice. Like,
Right.
it's just, and so then you have money and you're waiting for the floor to drop out.
Hmm.
And so you don't want to,
It's
you
just
want to
like,
become a dragon with their hoard of gold.
right.
Like,
And so it's easy to become the very thing you once despised
true,
in a certain regard. Now you're
true.
never
Now
like, if
you're
you get a
hoarding
billion
money.
dollars, I mean, you're not going to make that grow by
Right,
just guarding it. It's going to
right.
just slowly deplete
It's
over
gonna,
time. But
exactly, but you're not in your lifetime, probably.
I mean,
If all you do is just spend very little, like if you don't change your spending habits and you have $1
right,
billion, you're set.
right.
But
Maybe buy yourself a house and that's it.
right,
I mean, a billion is a lot of money.
it is a
That's the
lot.
thing.
Hmm.
Because a million is a lot of money.
Yeah, for us, it is. Yeah.
Like, I could probably live the rest of my life on $1 million.
Right. Like if I
Buy
had
a
$1 million
nice
in
house
the
in
bank,
a
I'd be
nice area.
comfortable.
Get
Hmm.
just get a part-time job at a coffee shop.
Hmm.
And so I buy a house for 250 grand or something like that in
Yeah.
Muskogee, Oklahoma,
Uh-huh.
and just work at the local Starbucks. Yeah, I could probably live off of $750,000 a year and a $40,000 salary for the rest of my life.
Hmm.
But like $1 billion
Yeah, yeah.
is
It's
nine hundred and
ridiculous.
$99 million plus a million.
It's obscene.
Like,
Ugh.
God. And then you've got people like Jeff Bezos who
Hmm.
have hundreds of billions of dollars.
Hmm.
Like, he is well on track to be the world's first trillionaire.
And I can't say it on record, but I hope you know what I say about the first trillionaire. I'll tell you off camera if you just how they should
What,
be
kill
dealt
him?
with. I'm not saying on the record
What,
because
drawn and quartered?
because I'm saying it facetiously, but I also, I'll just say, like I always say when people talk about, oh, the first trillionaire, the only thing I have to say about the first trillionaire is the first trillionaire should be shot. Like that's how I feel about it. But, I'm not saying go shoot the first trillionaire. I'm just saying emotionally, that's how I feel about it. Like if you are a trillionaire, go to hell. Like I have, you are a horrible person because you're hoarding that much money. But it's going to happen when we start mining asteroids. The trillionaires will be inevitable. Whoever gets there first will be an instant trillionaire. That's why they
Yeah.
want to go into space. That's why he's
Yeah.
building a spaceship shaped like a dick, because he wants us in space. Because, the first of these multi-billionaires to get a mining facility on an asteroid or a meteor, where's Neil
Asteroid.
deGrasse Tyson when you need him? There's a difference, but, that's going to be the first trillionaire, and it's going
Yeah,
to
I
be
believe meteors
unstoppable.
are asteroids traveling at like enormous speeds.
Right. Yes,
And
I
so
think you're correct. An asteroid
asteroids
is just
are
kind of floating out there
on a
because there can be an
trajectory,
asteroid belt,
right?
and you get mining equipment in there
Hmm.
and facilities and people who can
Watch The
be
Expanse
okay, put it on my list.
on Amazon.
Is that what that's
It's
about?
great. It's one of my rare recommendations that is non-anime,
Okay.
and that's
Okay.
what that
The
is about.
Expanse. See, okay, I keep coming up with these great film and TV ideas. I should be a writer.
Yeah, no,
But I
Earth is
guess
I believe it's based on
that
a
are
novel
already
series,
out there. That's a great
but
idea. It's already done. It's already been
yeah,
done.
yeah. I mean, you can do it again.
Yeah,
I mean, The Expanse is great because it explores. It's basically all about economics. Earth is
interesting.
overpopulated and full of
Uh-huh.
old money.
Uh-huh.
The belt has been mined to hell and is still
Ah,
being mined to hell
yeah.
and exists of nothing but basically the working class, and they're their own culture now, known as the Belters. They have their own language, which is just
Okay,
deteriorated English.
I'm
And then
fascinated.
you have Mars, the
Uh-huh.
first Earth colony,
Yeah.
who is militaristic as fuck
Huh.
and doesn't like the old money on Earth. They're the frontier people. They're the United States versus Britain.
Uh-huh.
And you have all of this tension amongst the three factions. The
Yeah.
Belters want better treatment, more money for what they're risking their lives to do out there in space. They can't even visit the planet they are originated from because the
Mm-hmm.
gravity would crush them from years of being spaceborne.
Yeah.
Martians can't even visit Earth
That's
without boosters
that's well
because
thought out.
um,
I'm sold on that one too. You're selling me on all these stories I
spaceships
need to
travel
check out.
backwards
Uh-huh.
because that's how they would
Right.
go.
That makes sense.
Because Newton's first law, an object
Mm-hmm.
in motion stays in motion unless acted upon an outside force.
Mm-hmm.
And so spaceships will come into port backwards because they need their propulsion to
Mm-hmm.
stop, to come to a zero
Right.
movement, zero
Like that.
velocity.
Uh-huh.
You also cannot travel. There's no faster than light
Yeah.
because that is just a theory.
Well, it's more of a fantasy. Like, we don't know how to do that.
Right.
We don't know that it
Or
is
the
in fact
speed of
physically
light.
possible.
Right.
It's probably physically impossible. Like so
Right.
far, everything shows it to be physically impossible for a human to
The
actually travel at the speed of light.
the
Like
more
even
likely thing is teleportation.
mm,
Like teleportation is far more feasible than traveling at the speed of light,
right, like through
as in a
wormholes. Like
wormholes, or in the future just digitally uploaded consciousness to dummy
mhm.
bodies.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, see, I've thought about that. That's gonna be a thing in the future.
Right. And I mean, that because that
You'll just
is the
have a
speed of light.
printed out body on Mars.
And you can
And
just upload
because
your
you're
consciousness to it.
exactly because your consciousness will be able to be in two places at once by then.
Right.
Like, because your brain is going to be uploading constantly to the cloud.
Right.
And so if you want to go to Mars, you can just like go into a cryogenic sleep while your digital self goes into a body elsewhere. And I think that's what's going to happen is you're going to store your bodies
Yeah.
places. And if you
Yeah,
don't want to
exactly.
use it anymore, if you can't afford the rent, say, you can just cremate a body. You can kill it
Or
because
donate
you're
it.
still alive. Yeah. Yeah,
But yeah,
true.
no, so I mean it's got a ton of good science in The Expanse as well.
I
Like
love
when
that.
you go, like, I can't remember what they call it, but it's like a jump drive, and it
Uh-huh.
is their form of like get somewhere really quick.
Yeah.
But you have to like sit in the chair and get drugs like pumped into you. Get the juice is what they call it for slang.
Uh-huh.
And it will make you throw up. It'll make you sick. You'll be messed up when you
Mm-hmm.
come out of it. So if like you're in a high speed chase away from
Yeah.
like pirates or something,
Mm-hmm.
when you come out of that, you will be severely hindered and messed up.
Yeah.
And but no, The Expanse deals with a lot of old money, new money, and the working class. I mean, that's pretty much what it is old money is Earth, new money is Mars, and the working class that makes everybody rich wants a piece too.
Hmm.
And it's great, full of good science and bad special effects. Um, the special
I'll
effects are
take it. I mean,
generally
yeah.
pretty good. Especially when Amazon picked it up because it was a sci-fi original
Ah, okay.
originally. Sci-fi was the one who adapted it originally. And then they stopped after season two, and then
Hmm.
Amazon picked it up and started making it further.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it was pretty good. I never finished it. I fell off at the beginning. I started rewatching it this last year,
Hmm.
but it's a lot. It's hour-long episodes, and
Yeah.
like 12 episode seasons, and
Yeah,
there's
it's a
five
lot.
of them.
It's hard. I can't binge shows. Like I binged but I planned it. I had to block out the time to binge Masters of the Universe Revolution when it dropped on Netflix, but it was only 5 episodes. But like when it comes to something that's like 24 episode seasons, I can't just sit there and watch it all day. Like I have to go to work and sleep, and I have other things to do in the 2 or 3 hours of functioning mental powers that I have.
Yes,
So like I can't just watch. It's hard to binge, especially when the episodes are hour long episodes.
right. And I also just don't have the attention span,
Oh, same. That's a problem I have
which
too.
is
I can't sit
funny
there that long.
because it's the format. It
Hmm.
really is the format. Like, I'm scared to commit to like a movie,
Oh, same.
but I'll watch a movie's worth of episodes.
Because you have the option of stopping, and it
Right.
makes it easier to
And
take it in.
episodes are story based per episode too.
Right. And
Like
then
there's a
once you
lot of thought
finish
that goes
one,
into the
yeah,
beginning, middle, and end of that episode.
right. And then you finish one and you're like,
There's
"Oh, I could do
anticipation
one
built up.
more. I could do one more little episode."
Right.
Then and
Every
then you
episode has a
get into that and you're like,
climax.
I could do one more.
Right,
Just
because it
one more.
becomes addicting.
Yeah,
Because every
exactly.
episode leaves you with a sense of anticipation.
Yeah.
Whereas a movie is scared
You're
to
like,
commit
"Oh, I gotta sit there for 2.5 hours. I don't know if I can do
to get
that."
to the climax.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, no. And so like with hour-long episodes, it's a little daunting.
Hmm.
And I don't know what it is about live action, but I remember it a lot better.
Hmm.
And like with
Oh.
live action, as opposed to like, the anime, which is my primary form of art consumption.
Weeb of Wonders.
Yes. Like there's more focus on the acting. So there's a lot of silence, a lot
Hmm.
in longer drawn out dramas, and
Hmm.
whether it be movies or hour-long episodes, there's a lot of suspense and looking at the facial expressions of the people. There's a lot more stimulus and like a lot more communication that
Hmm.
happens just with the acting, which I'm able
Yeah.
to remember a little better. So when it comes to rewatching live action things, I'm like, yeah, I got it the first time. But then when it comes to watching subtitled anime,
Hmm.
I have to really pick up on the words that were said.
Yeah.
And so I have to like with a book, I would probably have to reread it to really get the message of a certain part
No, I
really
think you do.
solidified,
Like I've
because I
learned
have to
that.
read it with like if there's a plot twist or something, you got to reread the words
Hmm.
that now make more sense given the
Right.
conclusion.
Right.
You're able to pick up better on the foreshadowing. But
Hmm.
like with live action, I'm just like he's the bad guy. You
Right.
can tell, like you can tell he's
Right.
the
You
bad guy. Look
really
how
you
he carries
can.
himself, and look
Hmm.
at the words, the choice of words, and look at his face, and look how he recoiled from the protagonist, and he's
Uh-huh.
hiding something at the very least. And
Right.
whereas in a book, you may not have picked up on the foreshadowing. And
Right. Or you may have. I mean, it
you may have.
depends. It depends. But a lot of times, so you're taking in so much. And then when you read a book the second time, you realize how much stuff you didn't pick up the first
Right.
time. And I love that. Like, I think reading a book for the third time is a new experience. But,
Yeah, anytime after that, you're just a bibliophile.
right, which is fine. I
Right.
love bibliophiles. Buy my books. Read them 87 times. Of
Yeah,
course,
we won't stop you.
I design some like my series to be read more than once so that you will pick up stuff you didn't pick up. It's designed that way. It's not that people
Yeah,
necessarily
what they don't know is that he just republishes, republishes the book, and it's actually different every time you read
every time.
it.
876th edition.
Yeah.
uh
Well, we should probably wrap
I
this
was
episode up.
just about to say that because if we were untethered, no microphones, no camera, we
We would be
can
yelling
talk
right
until
now.
dawn. Yeah. We'd be yelling and we wouldn't even like the sun would come up and say, "Hey boys, go the hell to bed.
Yeah.
You're gonna
So you
die.
have now
Charge your
witnessed a
batteries."
glimpse,
Yeah.
and this was still tethered
Yeah,
to a degree.
this was tethered because
Because at the beginning of this, all I wanted to do was continue our conversation
I
from
know,
last
I
night.
know.
And so we still tried to not go there.
Hmm.
And we went there a few times.
Yeah, yeah, a
Um,
little bit. But that's kind of like that was the fun part because this is sort of the genesis of Autodidactica is these conversations that we would have just all
yes.
night, just talk and whatever topic comes up and bounce around from topic to topic. That's why, I love that we did an episode that's this. It's just
Yeah.
like whatever we say is what we say. We have no idea what we're going to talk about. So,
Yeah. And, I mean, we keep it mostly politically correct,
uh-huh.
but I mean, a fair amount of that filter gets removed
Oh
off
yeah.
camera
Oh yeah. True.
because
True.
it's just easier to politically correct ourselves after the discussion
Uh-huh.
than it
Right.
is to formulate a discussion while trying to retain all of the crude parameters that exist within politically correctness. Like
Yeah.
like we refine ourselves as humans.
A little bit. I mean, it's still us. We're still genuine.
Right. Absolutely. Um but this is the most polished that our conversations get.
Right.
Our
Very
our
true.
conversations can go down some very crude
Oh,
paths.
very, very.
And so yeah, this
Because
was a good idea to do an episode. We should definitely do one of these a
every
season.
year, I agree. I think so.
Maybe I'll do a little preparation next time, is the
I
only
think
thing I
that's
can think
cheating.
of.
Oh, but what?
I don't know, just like some interesting thoughts
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, well,
that
because
I've
we've done
thought
that
of.
before
I mean,
when we just met at the house.
that's what our
We
podcasts are.
Yeah, pretty
Is I
much.
had this thought and now let's do a topic on it.
Uh-huh. The
But
difference between our podcast and our conversations is podcasts we tend to it's like we're
we
doing
reel ourselves
one
back in.
topic and just focusing on the one topic.
And anytime we start to veer off, we're like, oh, that's another topic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but not this episode and
not this episode.
not in the living room or the kitchen. It's
We went from Batman to billionaires to homelessness and empathy,
orcas and
orcas, and
like I honestly don't even remember what we talked. We talked about the never-ending story.
yeah, what in the hell did we
We
talk
talked
about?
about a lot of things. It'll be interesting for editor Glenn
Yeah,
to go through
I will be
this.
hearing laughter from Glenn's bedroom,
Oh, no
surely,
doubt. No doubt.
especially when you do your impersonation of Helen Keller.
Oh no, I didn't. But that's what she said. That I'll give her
In the
in the
movie.
movie. It was my impersonation of um Laura Ingalls, whatever her Who is that actress? Why can't I think of her name? The
Oh,
actress who
Laura Dingleberg.
no, it's not Laura Dingleberg.
No, I don't fucking know.
I don't know. She played Laura Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, I
Melissa
hated that show.
Gilbert? Was it? I hated that show too. My
I remember that
mother
dude got
loved that
attacked by a
show.
bear.
See, I was traumatized by one where like a dude like had a stagecoach accident and like
Hmm.
vultures came at him and I was sitting there eating tomato soup as like a 5-year-old and my mom is watching this show and so I now associate tomato soup with being eaten by vultures and
Ah,
I I do not like to eat tomato soup all
I
because
love
of
me some
Little
tomato
House on
soup,
the
man.
Prairie.
I
What I
have
don't
good memories of that show.
what Little House on the Prairie?
Yeah,
Like what?
just the time before cell phones,
Oh,
and
I see what you're
I was
saying.
just curled up on the couch with my mom watching Little House on the
I
Prairie,
see. Yeah.
and I didn't have school. I'm just
Right.
I'm just chill, just existing.
Cool. See, like,
Didn't have bills to pay.
yeah.
Raven was thanking her dad for making her the other day. I'm just like over here, like, yeah, thanks. Now I have to pay bills until I die. Thanks for making me. Now I'm sad all the time and have obligations and bills to pay.
Right.
But
See, this too is part of the untethered conversation. We'll be like, oh, we have to go to bed.
yeah.
And then we'll
And
stand
then
there for
2 hours
another.
later.
Yeah, exactly. It
And then we'll say
happened
it
last
again. And
night.
then 2 hours later.
Uh-huh. And we can't do that on the podcast because,
No. It has to end.
yeah, if people listen to a podcast on the way to work, hopefully their commute isn't 3 or 4 hours, but they can pick us
I
up the
feel for
next
you.
day. You can listen to us over days if you like. Put us on in the background while you're building a house because cleaning the house you'll finish way before we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess that's the episode.
Yeah.
Um
Next one's gonna be fun.
yeah, next one. Yeah, how do I don't even know how we
What did you decide to
preface
title
it.
it?
We're calling it Who Are We Anyway? And
Yeah,
it's
and
and
so
it's a two-parter
yes.
where we're kind of just we're like next episode, I think you're first. You're up first.
No, you're first.
No, you're first.
No, I'm the
Let's
first interviewer.
That's what I'm saying. You're up to bat first to
Oh,
like
I'm up
probe
to
me.
yes.
Like we're
Don't put it
probing
like
each
that.
other. We're
No, we're
probing
not.
each
There
other
is
for the
no
next two
probing going
episodes.
on. I will not
Deep,
be doing
deep
any.
probe.
There
We're
will be not a single probe happening. But I will ask you some questions,
okay.
and
While you're probing me. And then I'll be probing you and asking you questions in the next.
and this will be on two separate cameras, so we'll be in two different rooms.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so it'll be some verbal probing.
Yeah.
Uh,
It'll be great. Just like
but
being
yeah,
abducted
who
by
even are we?
aliens.
You've
Who even
been
are we?
hopefully listening for 22, 23 episodes by
Right.
now.
Right.
And so we'll get a little gritty.
Mm-hmm.
We won't
Well,
hit
that's
the
interesting.
gritty, but that was
Yeah.
did you
Right. Not
understand
yet.
that, Glenn?
Not yet. Do I understand what? I don't know
Do
words.
you know
I'm
what
like,
hitting the gritty is, Glenn?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's obscene, but
No. It's a dance.
is it? Oh,
It's a
I haven't heard of
TikTok
that.
thing.
Is it?
No,
Oh,
it's
I'm
a
not on
yeah,
TikTok.
yeah.
That's
No,
one of the few things I'm not on.
no. Hitting the gritty, and it's a Fortnite dance basically. Um,
Okay. No, I know, I know.
yeah, there was a
That
commentator
one.
or a
I just
TV
didn't know it was
reporter.
called that.
It's a common celebration in the NFL now.
Uh-huh.
The gritty.
Okay, okay.
And there was a TV reporter that tore a hamstring on live television.
Oh wow. Oh,
Hitting
we're
the gritty.
doing it again, by the way.
Yeah, no.
We're
But
we're
yeah, no.
about to go
Next
off.
episode will be fun.
It'll be
Um,
fun, I hope. I'm scared. I'm a little
Yeah,
scared
you
because I
you
don't know
should
what.
be
Okay,
probably.
are you actually working on this? Like, are you actually
Well, I'm gonna have to. I mean,
writing questions down?
I mean, I
Because if
gotta.
if you're telling me I should be scared, you must have an idea of what you're gonna
Well,
be.
what I'm scared of is the fact that I'm going first, so I have to set the tone. I'll
No,
probably go
exactly.
over things with you, be like, "Hey,
That's
there's a
fair.
question I want to ask.
I think
Are
that's
you
a good idea.
comfortable with me
Let's,
asking?"
because I would do that
Well,
with
now we're in the
you.
planning process, so let's get off the
Right,
air.
let's get off. Let's get off
Let's
together
get
and
off,
let's
and
go.
we'll probe next time. Um,
Right,
we'll practice probing each other off
right.
camera.
We're gonna do that, and then on our OnlyFans.
If
Well,
you made it this far, thank you.
if you made it this far, we appreciate your madness.
BBC
But
relies on viewers like you. And
yes. All
isn't
right.
that right?
So
BBC?
PBS,
PBS, that's
BBC is
right.
the
It's
British
BBC. British.
broadcasting,
Isn't
but
PBS British too?
no, that's American. That's the public
Public
broadcasting
broadcasting, not
system
British
or company.
broadcasting channel.
PBS, public broadcasting system. I think
Serendipity?
it's Sesame Street. It's
Right. Sesame Street's not
Nova.
British?
No,
Nah, it'd probably be worse if it's British.
no, Blue Peter. That's British, and we don't even know what that is. Like
I have no fucking clue what you just said.
it's a
I
British
know Blue's
kids
Clues.
show. I love Blue's Clues, but no, we're gonna
They're
go
both
on a
girls.
tangent. We're gonna go on a tangent. So
Yep.
we have to go. We have to go. Sadly, we
Goodbye,
have to
everybody.
go.
And I was about to stop video, but we don't have to do that.
Right. Right. So we'll be back next month with Who Even Are We Part 1. And I mean, Matt assures me it'll be good.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Until next time, this has been Autodidactica.
Thanks for listening to our BS.